was a.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:30. The Duncanville Arts Commission is live. Let's get started. We have a lot going on and some people here. So anyone who's in our audience, you're on the agenda. If any in the audience would like to speak, you would need to give us your name. You have 2 minutes, the floor is yours. Any takers? No takers, okay.
And you have no email comment.
No email. All right, let's go ahead. Item 3, the Arts Commission, to consider the following minutes. If you've seen your packet, that was from our last regular minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review it? Yes. Any questions? Anything on there you want to talk about? We'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second.
Seconded.
All of us?
Angela, second. Motion by Ms. Jackson. All in favor of approving the arts, the 2024, for the November 21st, 2024 Arts Commission regular meeting minutes? Raise your hand in favor. Any opposition? Raise your hand. It's unanimous. Item 4, Commissioner's Report. So remember, we're going to limit these to 2 minutes. I'm going to time them, and then I'm going to rudely interrupt you if you're still talking. So forewarned is forearmed, as my communications professor used to tell me. I'm going to do this. We have some items on the Commissioner's Reports, A and B. I'm going to start there, and then let's just do a whip around. So item 4A, the arts calendar. Who does that belong to?
Okay, so I made a calendar for the year, and I can pass it around, and anyone can add anything. I have put the theater dates in there, and I do have something from Macmillan, so I'll just pass this around. You could maybe take a picture of it if you need to.
Can I put my birthday on there?
Yes. We can put their birthday.
Will you will produce this for everybody once it's done, right? Not the calendar, but a listing or
I'll
whatever.
just bring it, and people can take a picture and pass that around.
So that was a no, you're
So,
I don't think I'm gonna reproduce it.
No.
so what Dr. Perry's asking, if there's anything that you want to go on her calendar, please include it, and then she will report to the commission and to the public.
Thank you.
Anything else, Dr. Perry? Is that it for you?
Mhm.
Are you good?
For the reports?
Yes.
Oh, okay, we met as a subcommittee, Angela, Tim, and myself, with Noel, to talk about the films and the music series at the park. And he would like to continue meeting with a subcommittee, so Alex has set up a meeting for Monday at 11, and 4 of us can go because it needs to be less than a quorum. So we would love to have another person joining us to continue the discussion, possible decisions related to the series in the park.
Okay. And so what was the date again?
Monday at 11 a.m. this next Monday, the
And-
3rd.
And Alex sent out a Teams request. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a team in every invitation in everybody's inbox.
It's an in-person meeting.
In-person meeting at
Oh.
Noel at
Mondays
the
in
rec
person.
center.
Okay. Okay. So, Alex, you're going to make sure that that's less than a quorum?
Yes,
Okay.
I will do my best.
Thanks, everybody. Because there's going to be 3 of us, right?
If one more can come.
So currently there is a committee for it. It's the 3 of you. Okay. So you could have one more if you. Okay. Thanks, Sam. All right, I'm going to restart. Duncanville Rights.
It's going well. People are coming, people that we didn't expect to come. So the library's doing a good job of helping advertise. This last time, we had a new person who I'll be meeting with just personally on Thursday. She didn't make the time. As you know, group dynamics sometimes go places you don't know they're going to go. So we talked about having some sort of contest that would be a writing kind of event some Saturday afternoon at the library. Any of you familiar with the Ready Writing UIL contest? Anybody know what that is? It would be similar to that. 2 prompts, different age groups, which I'll give you specifics of. We got very specific. So for young people, sort of a middle range adult, and then adult and older. We don't know yet how to manage prizes, especially if there will be students, because UIL does have rules about that. But again, library is willing to help us, so we're pretty excited about that. So we continue to read and ask for critiques during meetings. So that was original purpose, and that's going fine. So anybody wants to come and see.
Well done. Thank you. All right, so those are the two that were on the agenda. I'm just going to go around from my right all the way around. If anyone has anything like that, Commissioner's report. Angela, do you have anything?
Yes, we did I did the movie at the McMillan, which was very nice, supporting Anne. On the Christmas table, I just wanted to show you some of the things that Max showed us how to make and that the kids made. It was a big hit at the Christmas event for the city. Tiffany was out there, Sarah was out there, Anne was out there, Tim came, I was there, so we.
Ann was in the train.
Yes, she was in the train. So it went good. The only drawback that we had is we just had to wait a while. We got there early, but had to wait a while for a table. I did talk to Noel about that later, and Councilwoman Sherry. Yeah, about it. But other than that, everything was great for it. They were just, since they knew we were coming, it just didn't make sense that they didn't have the stuff already there for us, and it took them about an hour or so to get it. Just thought that was interesting, since it was just coming right from the senior center to just out the door.
Right.
On Saturday, I plan on attending the Arthur Promise collection, which the Irving Black Arts Council is showing for the whole month, and their main gallery at the Arts Center. They have a reception from 5 to 7, and it's free to anybody who wants to come, and it's really nice if you would like to see what they do. And then on the 16th, 17th, they have a Black History Month program called A Poetic Journey Through Time, which is free and open to anybody who would like to come.
Nice. Thank you, Angela.
I will send it to you.
So Ann asked where these are taking place.
Irving Arts Center.
The Irving Arts Center.
The Irving Arts Center.
Mr. Perry, do you have a commissioner's report?
Just a couple things. So in December, we went to the, I don't know the official name, but it's like the Festival Lights down in Fair Park. It was a light sculptural, electric light sculptures, very interesting. The way the city was running it, they had in the greeting area, in the main pavilion where you start this adventure, there's a stage, and they had performers from China there that were juggling and doing all kinds of interesting stuff. And then you could walk around the property out by the Nature Discovery Center at Fair Park, and walk through the lights. Beautiful. It was really beautiful. It was painted silk and backlit and sculpturally formed. Really, I don't know if it's still going. It might be worth seeing. It really is. Secondly, we did do some art and cultural things in Mexico. We went to Mexico on the Yucatan for a little while, and we visited some cultural sites, but I couldn't say there was inspirations other than all the houses were painted different colors. Now, if we can convince Duncanville, and every house bright yellow and blue and green, yeah. And lastly, today while I was scrolling through my photos, I came across the photos I took on tour when we were going through the tax office back here, when we first were looking at it possibly as a location that we could use, since it's not in use right now. And I started looking at it, and I suddenly realized, I said, you know what, I don't know what the city's doing with that facility at this moment. I know there's no HVAC in it, but I can see if it's not touched inside in the interior, I could see that I would want to let a bunch of location scouts in the film industry in Dallas know about that building, because it's got this wonderful set of, everything's there from the tax days. It could be a bank, it could be, what it was, a tax officer's windows, desks, teller places, and it could be all kinds of stuff. The whole facility's there. And the film industry might be very interested in looking for a place like that, and the city could make some revenue off of that. So that was
Hey,
just
Tim, that's two. I
Yeah.
think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Would you like to follow up on that in any way?
I would.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Congratulations, Miss Sarah.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
new job.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have a commissioner's report?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I have a new job. I work for Forefront Living. They're a senior living community in North Dallas. And I've already mentioned to them that I'm part of the Duncanville Arts Commission. And they told me they were interested in coming to some of our galleries. So whenever we have those pop-ups, I will let them know, and maybe they'll do a field trip for some of their seniors to come over here and look at what we have. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing that kind of like stuck out a little bit, or I guess like just made me aware, you know, seniors, our interns, you know, they love art, and whenever we've done like events and we're planning for a Valentine's Day event for them, they're gonna involve art in it, like painting or some sort of craft table for adults, not necessarily for kids. And so I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe like when we have our next mixer or something, we can add like just a small area where it's like crafts for the adults, because there's all adults there, and it would just be cool to, you know, maybe just paint something, do cards. Us employees at Forefront Living, we handmade cards for firefighters in California after the wildfires and stuff. And so it was just something I noticed that just people get really excited and happy about it. It's like, oh, I get to, you know, just have a little escape for a few minutes and draw or color or whatever. So anyway, I thought maybe that would be cool for another mixer idea. But
Yeah, I appreciate the outreach.
yeah.
Sarah. Mac, Heart Attack, you're up.
Hi, I have two. My wife and I went to the first Duncanville Drawing Club meeting on Saturday. We had a wonderful teacher over there. And then, of course, I have a poem. Okay, this one's called Creative Cost. What can give and give, no loser sought, the grace to share and life depict? What simple joys to fill the eyes, tame the touch, and ears remind? What calms the heart with soothing tones or swooping lines for mind content? What can give away with creative cost, not felt but filled and poured back in? Art can give and give, no loser sought, its simple joys for us commend. It calms the heart with lines and tones and colors flung for mind content. Art gives away much more than not, our hearts to mend and joys poured in.
Well done. Well done. Snaps. Ms. Jackson, your report?
follow that?
You can sing.
So I have a couple of things. I just want to always update you on what the theater's doing. We open a play next week. We open outside Mullingar, and I'm going to toot our horn a little bit. We do one artsy piece every year, and this is it. I was out by there today. The set is amazing. It's beautiful. It's written by John Patrick Shanley. It's a Tony-nominated play, award-winning play, and it's a little serious, probably PG-13. But it's a really cool show, and it would mean a lot for Arts Commission folk to show up and support Heather's art. When we do these kinds of shows, they're typically not very well attended, but we do one show a year that's what we call art for art's sake. And this is it. So it opens next Thursday, opens on the 6th. It runs the 6th through the 8th and the 13th through the 15th at 8 p.m. And I changed it on the calendar. On Sunday afternoon, the 9th, we are starting at 2 p.m. instead of 3 to make sure that we're all out of the show in time to root on the Super Bowl.
You keep talking about that. Is that a thing?
So we have changed the start time of a play for that. But anyway, I wanted to make sure that you all are aware of that, and this is a show that I would really like to invite all of you to. The other thing that I'll toot the theater's horn just a little bit, we at Celebrate Duncanville, the citywide event at the Hilton Garden Inn a week ago, we won the Pioneer Award. And we won or we were awarded the, I don't know, and the Pioneer Award is a business or person who has been in Duncanville for 15 years, we've been here 36, or more years, and who has been involved in public or community service activities that have increased the quality of life for our citizens. And that was an honor to have received that award. And I think, you know, as the longest running arts organization in Duncanville. I think it's important to share that with the Arts Commission and make sure you know. And then the other thing I'll just share quickly, I'm probably out of 2 minutes, but one of these days we're going to host a poetry night at the theater annex for Mr. Matt
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and Amy, you can reclaim your time anytime you like. I wonder if you, I guess it doesn't have to be, but if you wanted to have like a Arts Commission night where the Arts
Would love
Commission
to do
go,
that.
and then if he can announce a possible quorum,
Yeah,
then you can
that
have the
was
whole
what I worried
commission
about.
there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would love to do that, you know, and maybe host that, and we could do it, make it a little special thing. And then, like I said, we were thinking, I talked to Mac about that, doing maybe an Arts Commission poetry night at the annex, try to co-op a little bit more on some of these things.
That'd be well attended.
So how did your Christmas thing go? I mean, I thought it was
It
great.
was the highest attended show of the year, and we thought nobody would
And you
come.
thought nobody would come. Okay.
More
that's good.
attendance than anyone ever, made more money than we made in 3 years on a show.
Wow.
I don't know. It's
That's
crazy.
wonderful. Well done.
Yeah.
Santa fell from the sky.
Tiffany, do you have a report?
No, I'm
Okay.
fabulous. That's it.
I've just got minor calendar dates. Wednesday the 5th is Texas Arts Advocacy Day in Austin. Texans for the Arts puts it on, and I'll be there representing Duncanville. I'm going there at my own expense, but if anyone would like to join me, do it. Some things to talk about. February 4th is a really important city council meeting. There are two things going on. They're going to have a workshop at 5. That workshop, the city council is going to decide the name of the cultural district. So they have our recommendations, and then they talked about the good, the bad, what the possibilities are. And then thereafter, the city council meeting at 6 p.m., there will probably be action taken at that point. Maybe, maybe not. Things change. My recommendation is dew point. If the Arts Commission can be there, it's possibly really important. It means we'll have created something that's never existed in the city of Duncanville, and then therefore will always exist. Started here, my friends. If you intend to come, let Alex know, because if it looks like we're going to have a quorum, he'll need to post that there's a possible quorum.
I think it's okay, because
Okay.
you just be going to citizens. So I already got that figured out.
Okay, all right. That's it for me, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, number 5. The Arts Commission to review, consider, and adopt the City of Duncanville Arts Commission policy on hotel occupancy tax administration and grant making. Okay, this is going to be a 2-part conversation. The first part really should be the second part, and vice versa. You know that we establish a policies and procedure subcommittee. It's myself and Angela and who else is in the meeting? And Mac and Tiffany. And we met via Teams. So the one thing we've talked about since day one is the way that HOT is dispersed in Duncanville. It's a reimbursement policy whereby you have to spend the money. Everyone acknowledges the fact that reimbursement is not good policy for the arts. So what other municipalities do, I use the example of Austin. Austin uses HOT revenue, they have an arts commission, and they have a reimbursement policy. But recognizing that reimbursement is not equitable and the arts need to be available to everyone, they have other arrows in their funding quivers. They have money available to them to produce their own works. They have money available to sponsor things, and they have money available for grant making. So there's actually 2 sets of documents in your packet. I'm going to start here. In the back of your packet are the notes, the work product from our subcommittee meeting. I'm going to read it briefly, just so it's on the record, and then we can talk about what city staff has pulled together. This is a draft, and ostensibly this is our approach to deal with reimbursement only. So the Arts Commission seeks leadership from City Hall staff to assist in drafting policies for 3 distinct funding strategies that are actionable and within scope of staff to implement. These strategies include producing by the Arts Commission. These are policies for arts experiences initiated and managed directly by the Arts Commission. So we do Hispanic Heritage Month and we do Juneteenth. There's no telling what future commissions will like to do, but we produce those ourselves. Sponsorships. Policies are providing financial or in-kind support to external initiatives that align with the commission's mission. This is when anyone says, hey, do you want to buy a ticket? Do you want to sponsor this event? This would allow us to tap that funding resource to be sponsors. And of course, grant making. Policies for administering financial assistance to artists and arts organizations through a competitive application process. This is probably the most, more, grant making is complicated, but it should be something at some point that should be part of our policy. One of the things I want to talk about that was mentioned during our subcommittee meeting is we talked about strategic planning. My recommendation to the subcommittee at the time is let's do the policies first and strategic planning second, because policies don't change, but strategic plans do. So let's get really solid policies that address the equitability of arts funding in the city, use other municipalities as guideposts, but then it has to be done in a way that the city of Duncanville can scale it. So each policy will establish clear, equitable, and sustainable guidelines for supporting artists and arts organizations, aligning with the values and recommendations of the Texas Commission on the Arts while fostering collaboration and mutual respect. So part of the work product, as we talked about, the way that a city chooses to fund the arts determines how a city values the arts. Like anything else, healthcare, infrastructure, but we do the arts. So we discussed what are some core principles of the policies that we would like to see adopted. Partnership-centered approach. Artists and arts organizations are recognized and valued as partners in fostering cultural growth and community enrichment. That's almost directly from the Texas Commission for the Arts, who says we should treat our artists as partners, not products. You know, one of the things that we learned when we tried to get some funding before is that we have to hire artists the same way the city buys toilet paper. We should change that. Secondly, equity. Funding opportunities are accessible to all eligible applicants with an emphasis on ensuring fairness and inclusivity across diverse communities. Duncanville is a very, very diverse community. We want to make sure everyone feels comfortable applying for funds. Sustainability. Funding practices prioritize long-term viability, both for applicants and the funding program itself. We have a finite amount of money available to us. We have a very robust, potentially robust enterprise fund. They're made to grow. What the money that, as a reminder, the hot revenue that's in the Duncanville Arts Fund can roll over to the next year. So we can put money in it. The local group that did the art show, they raised $400 for the Arts Commission. That went to our Arts Fund. If we want to write grants, if we want to do donations, it can grow. As an example, I'm going to not tell you the group in case I mess up on it, but I was at a mixer this weekend in a neighboring city, and they kind of run adjacent to us. They're about, we're starting our third year, they're at 5 years. Their organization, like ours, started with $60,000. Their corpus is now at 1.2. And without any knowing it, we've just been doing side by side. They applied for a cultural district. The activity of the application for a cultural district brought people together in new ways, and that year they're the highest ranked applicant for a cultural district. The reason I say all that is because we are rapidly becoming part of a statewide and regional community that we haven't been before. And what I find is the larger arts community is so supportive of this commission. They don't even know us. I was using the analogy, I was talking with someone, and they said a lot of times struggles with Friday Night Lights community is everything's focused on sports, and there's nothing wrong with that. And she responded to me really quickly. She goes, yes, but in sports there's a winner and a loser. No one loses in the arts, and so we have a wonderful opportunity to bring people together. So the part about sustainability is we're not looking every time someone pops up and asks for money, do we think that's a cool thing? It's, well, how does it sustain? How does it last for the long term? Ease of access. The application process and funding policies are designed to minimize burdens on applicants, ensuring they're straightforward, transparent, user-friendly. That's directly from my friend Angela. So let's make this easy for the folks applying. Angela has a lot of experience in arts management and arts fundraising for the arts through the Irving Arts Center, and included flexible funding models. Where feasible, alternatives to transitional reimbursement-based funding are provided, offering applicants greater flexibility and financial stability. So what this all comes is, this does not get rid of reimbursement. It just adds additional things to it. So this is what we discussed, and then we added some some other municipalities that have programs that are aligned to it. So what's happened is, city staff went back, they took our work product and they started fitting it into the funding model which already exists. The DCDC funding model, which in the past has been in charge of HOT. Arts Commission has a fantastic opportunity to help improve on funding policies that have an opportunity to be improved upon. This is what city staff has pulled together. You'll see it has what our recommendations are, and what exists already in the policy. I want to clarify a couple things. The purpose of the subcommittee for policies and procedures is to do the legwork for the entire commission. We don't speak for the entire commission. We would not recommend any action on anything until we come back to get action from this commission. The reason we started with staff is because there's no point in recommending any action to the Arts Commission or to the City Council if staff doesn't have the bandwidth to do it. That was the strategy behind this. So what happens next is, it's been recommended there's going to be some further conversations with the city manager on funding the arts. And it has to do with things that we haven't been told yet. So what I would like for you to do, after we finished the meeting, I sent everybody this. And I asked Alex to send the Otter notes. Otter is the AI app that he uses when we have Teams meetings. You guys have everything about that meeting. Has anyone had, before we go on to this, I'm moving around, but it's all sort of the same thing. This right here, are there any questions or conversations about policies, if I described it, or anything that you see in this draft that you would like to talk about now?
I have one question, and I don't know where it falls into there, but there's so much conversation, and I think the very first meeting I was at the Arts Commission, I brought this up about the reimbursement policy. That has not always been the case. They didn't, it used to be what we talked about, a grant for the arts. It was reimbursement for Sandra Meadows, for some of the Fieldhouse events, but for the arts, I can tell you straightforwardly, the theater was the beneficiary of that. We applied and we got a quarterly disbursement. Whatever our annual amount was, we got $12,000, then we got $3,000 a quarter. We had to turn in a budget, and we had to turn in an end of the year fiscal report showing how we'd used the money. It's kind of like when we got a Meadows Foundation grant. If you don't use it properly, you're not ever going to get one again. But so the onus is on you as an organization to provide the information, but it wasn't on reimbursement. That did not start until either 2015 or 2016. So part of me as an artist, and I have been vocal about it long before there was an Arts Commission. There has been much discussion between me and every city manager. Now that Kevin is interim city manager, you can ask him how many conversations we had about that. That it's always been difficult for the arts to work on a reimbursement status. And, you know, the theater has been getting arts funding, hot funding since 1990. And it suddenly, I remember I was in a hotel room in Florida and I got a phone call from Jessica James telling me they couldn't write the check until I turned in all of my receipts. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I'm not in town, and can I have a week? You know, and I had to go back and kind of change, and I have them all. I can give you every receipt from 1988 when we first started. It wasn't that we were not fiscally responsible, it was just a complete change of the way we were doing business. And as an artist, we try to spend most of our time creating the work and making sure we do a really good job. And as I told Kevin, and I've told Doug, and I told Aretha, it would cost more to hire a CPA to do the work that they're wanting for proper reimbursement than the grant actually is. Because it's a lot of work, it's hours and hours of work. So I would encourage the city council and the powers that be, and perhaps with a push from the Arts Commission, to reevaluate that policy to the way that it was. Right, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm saying it publicly, how it's so important that not just to look for ways to make grants other than reimbursement, but to actually look at not requiring reimbursement on arts grants.
So what we've learned from other municipalities is sometimes that's a tool that's necessary. So our way to address that for the arts, so if something's coming to the arts for consideration, they're using the arts policy. And that policy is meant to, so that you can go back to the board of the Duncanville Community Theater and say, good news. Arts Commission is making sure this goes away for us.
Right, no, I understand that, and I've talked to a lot of municipalities as well. I can do it, I've got the formula down, but I'm looking at for other artists. It's not that, I know that other cities do that, but also I know that other cities do not do reimbursement as well. It's a tool that they use, it makes it a little bit easier to administrate it for them. But cities have the discretion to make whatever rules they want to as far as hot funds. And there's a lot of broad discretion for the arts. There's not a lot of broad discretion for sports and other activities, signage, advertising, but for the arts, there is. So I was just wanting to get on my soapbox for a minute about that because I feel strongly about
Well,
it.
be sure, because you said that you've been working that for so long, be sure to let them know that that's probably the next time you apply. If it's to the Arts Commission, there's other places you can apply. If it's to the Arts Commission, that onus won't exist anymore, probably. If this policy goes through, chances are that that burden will not be yours again.
May I speak too? I think that's such good commentary, just when you're looking at creating policies and everything like that. But I think it's also important for us to remember that we are a city board. We are here to make certain that when we give out money, that there's our due diligence of being transparent with that money. So I think that it's always relevant to have receipts. I think that right now with technology, that should never be a problem for anyone. I think that you can get a digital copy. I think that you can anticipate expenses even before they happen when you are when you've done these things before, right? So I would pause before I would say that it shouldn't be any reimbursement, because people can say, oh, we're doing this or that. This is still money that we are overseeing, and we have a fiduciary duty to make certain that everything is A, on top of the board, B, that it's very clear that we are following the guidelines that we set out for everyone who benefits from anything that we give out. So that's just my thoughts.
Mr. Perry.
Yeah, just two things. One, you mentioned that there were alternatives for the arts to getting the funding that isn't producer receipts funding or reimbursement. What are the other alternatives?
Sponsorship, grant making, and what producer ourselves.
That's what's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can, what Amy was saying, I totally get, being on the board at the Museum of International Culture, and every year we would apply for that grant.
What was your experience with Hot Funds?
Very difficult, very difficult. And I came on the board about the time that Jessica James came on board as our city, well, she wasn't city manager, but she was, economic development. What it means for the artist is that you have to fully fund your event, you have to fully fund your exhibit, you have to fully fund your concert, and then take your receipts and get reimbursed. And I don't know how many artists have, the capital up front to go and fully fund something, and then hope that your receipts will be accepted, because our receipts were not always accepted, even though years before they were fine at the museum. So it was a struggle. It was very much a struggle. So I'm very pleased to hear about this change.
So this would be theoretically, again, so the funder can determine the best funding tool to fund an organization. So it might be reimbursement. It might be a sponsorship. It might be a grant. It might be something we produce ourselves. But that's what you hear over and over again, is that the reimbursement is not equitable for the arts.
Yeah, and it may be that there are certain organizations that have all the capital and it's no big deal. But we could ascertain that in the funding process. It's like, can you just do it and give us your receipts, or
It is a burden.
I think if you're dealing with grants and stuff like that, I think it's a different thing. Like if you're getting a business grant or an event grant to say, hey, listen, we know that we've estimated that this costs $13,000, and we'd like the Arts Commission for $5,000. Like, I just think that makes sense, right? I don't think that has to be necessarily reimbursement. But I think that we just want to make certain that we're always covering our back. Like, I always look at the underlying business, the best best business practices, right? So, I mean, I agree. I think that some certain things don't need to be reimbursement. But I think those things that are reimbursable makes a difference because they may be services or things that organizations are already doing annually, and they're able to get reimbursed for those things, right? But I think when you're dealing with sponsorships and grants, those are different because they're seeking money to do those events. And I think that, that's something that, we can always work through. But I think that for different, it's almost like when you're applying, what situation you're applying for.
Right.
And then I think that those measures would happen with that, with that particular situation. But yeah, I do agree with that too.
One last thing. I know in filmmaking, when we're looking to raise funds, the funders often want to know who else is contributing to this particular project.
Right.
So I would see that factoring in as well. If someone wants to produce a large something, we might say, oh, do you have other sources as well in addition to what we might be able to grant you? So just because usually if they do, then that weighs better for them to get the grant or to get the award.
That makes me think, once these policies are in place, the commission or any funding organization can determine with the support of city staff, because again, they write the checks and they do the tracking, is there an algorithm? Do you want the Arts Commission to be the sole funding for a project, or do you want them to see they have other sources of funding and for how long, that sort of thing? But be thinking about that, because we're gonna have to talk about that. Any other comments on this draft policy or decision-making? For the record, Ms. Jackson would like for the reimbursement to be removed altogether, is that correct?
I would like that certainly to be considered, yes.
Okay. Is there anything, thank you, is there anything in this document that you would like to see more of, that you would like to see less of? And so keep in mind this policy that's going to be considered, as a reminder, we are advisory to City Council. We won't make this final determination. City Council will make this final determination. They just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, and that's why I wanted to make sure that these are on the record.
Can I clarify my reporting without reimbursement? I think there should be reporting. You should have to quantify what you did with the money and that you produced a sculpture or you produced a play or you produced a concert, but not receipts. The receipt, the copying of every bag of ice that you bought at 7-Eleven and a box of screws at Home Depot.
Oh, I'm sorry, misunderstood. I thought your suggestion was that the reimbursement model just be taken away altogether.
I would like it taken away, but reimbursement and reporting is not the same thing. Reporting just showing an overall, this is what we spent on the activity or the event.
So the reporting is too onerous.
The receipts, the reimbursement, the listing of and the copying of every receipt and turning it in. My experience, and I know Wake Civic Theater and others, we turned in, prior to 2015 or 16, we turned in a budget. This is how much we spent on advertising, this is how much we spent on production, director's fees, that kind of thing, but not a copy of the receipt for everything. That which is what your reimbursement was based on the receipt. So I don't think a report, not unlike the Meadows Foundation, we got a grant from them. We had a one-page report that we filled out that showed what we spent, what the event cost, what grants we got from the Meadows or the city of Duncanville or somebody else. And it was just a one-page simple form to fill out. So that's what I'm saying. I think a report is fine. It's the reimbursement. That's a follow-up. That's an after.
Right.
And if you don't do it, you're never going to get a grant again.
Okay.
But it's not contingent upon getting the grant.
Okay, that makes sense. Mr. Secretary, would you make sure that's you? Would you
I'm
please,
sorry, I know I was wording.
Would you please make sure that these discussions are at least definitely noted, because this will be something that folks will want to go back and listen to.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else about the structure or the tone or the thinking on this? Is there anything that you would like for the subcommittee to remove? Because again, I'm gonna ask, with your permission, that we table any action pursuant with the follow-up conversation with city management. That hopefully will be soon, and then I can update everyone via email, so the next time that we have to take action, we can take action. As a reminder, and again, I have to keep saying this because I'm always reminded of this, our action is merely a recommendation to City Council. City Council takes action on all of this. So with that said, is there anything left in this document that you would like for us to talk to with city management about? I've heard a couple of different things. Is there anything else that you would like to be included in that conversation? Is there any questions, any concerns? Mr. Perry?
As I understand it, this is basically the bullet points of the things that policies will need to be created for.
Show me what you're pointing at.
Well, all your points.
Yeah, so those are our notes for the meeting.
Those are your notes.
And then this is what staff pulled together from those notes.
Okay, so I haven't really done it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then, okay. So maybe what I'm thinking, things like in the reports, something that shows, like for my grant, I did what I said I was gonna do. And here's my report that shows that I did it. And I don't know, in other words, accountability, yeah.
So what's happening is you'll see that there currently are policies for these kind of things, but they're not specific to the arts. So we're blending. Okay. Anything else that you would like to talk about? It doesn't matter if it's trivial or if you think it's trivial, if it's important, if it's something you'd like to continue the conversation. That's good.
I just wanted to point out, to your point, I think that's included on that sheet right there, the evaluation.
Oh, cool.
The last page is that.
Thank you.
So it has the accountability piece already plugged into it. But review it and see if there's anything you would like to add.
In the title, should we not include sponsorship and grant making? Since sponsorship is one of the options in there.
Yeah, we could even call it, like funding tools.
Funding tools, something like that. Because, we're taking 2 of the 3 and making it in the heading, but we're not taking sponsorship.
You're right. And so also somebody mentioned at some point in this meeting, recognize all this money comes from the Duncanville Arts Fund. It's an enterprise fund. They're meant to be robust, they're meant to be entrepreneurial, they're meant to grow. So there's going to be revenue in our enterprise fund that's not necessarily hot. So we're focusing on hot because hot's always been the only game in town. Okay, so yes.
But that's why he wants to meet with you ahead of making any policy decision, even with regards to this, because he wants to have a discussion so that those other funding sources, those other ways that money comes into the arts fund can be included in the policies.
And so, thank you, Alex. And so, when this meeting's over, and then there is another meeting with the city management, I'm going to invite the subcommittee to attend. Anything that you want to email me, say you slept and say, hey, I thought about something else, here's a funding model that I think has been really important for other organizations or other municipalities, send it to me. This is really critical because this is the kind of stuff that's going to stick for a while. And there's going to be future arts commissions that this conversation we're having, they're not going to have a conversation because it's just going to be the policy. So keep in mind, it's not us, it's going to be arts commissions 20 years from now, potentially. So if it's okay, if we could table action, we're going to have a follow-up conversation with city management, but then please, 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 I will send you when the meeting is. I'll send you the notes of the meeting. If there's anything else you want to include after this meeting that you didn't think about now, please email it to me. I would also ask you, when you email me on anything, I'm going to ask you to please blind copy the entire Arts Commission. It's really important. Transparency is crazy critical at this time, okay? No private emails. If you send me a private email about policy, I'm going to forward it to the entire Arts Commission. So just keep that in mind. Any questions before we move on to the next? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next item. This is going to be fun. The Arts Commission to consider sponsorship of the 2025 Spring Arts Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a vibrant Arts Commission welcome to... Tell us your name.
Devin Hanley.
Yay! Welcome to Arts Commission.
Hi, everybody. I am your new special events planner for the city of Duncanville. I came from Mansfield, and at Mansfield we did have an established arts commission, and we did a special events, a lot of things with our arts commission. Arts was a part of almost every event that we had. They had at least, at our, what was Hometown Holidays for us, they had a section of art-related activities, bringing, awareness to art, things for the kids to do, things for adults to do. And then we had a music and arts festival in Mansfield that was one of the biggest events, which I think would succeed here in Duncanville very well. However, I really loved the art part that we did, which was very art focused and everything. We had lots of things art related, which I'll bring up. So the proposed name is just the Spring Arts Festival. The purpose is a celebration of art in all forms, featuring visual arts, live performances, workshops, interactive exhibits, and more. The audience would be our local residences, tourists, art enthusiasts, and families. I would love it to just be an event for everyone of all ages, all cultural backgrounds. Key goals are just to highlight the city's cultural and artistic capabilities while promoting local artists and organizations. So why help fund this? I feel like it aligns with the Arts Commission mission to promote and support arts in the community. Partnering ensures the commission can help shape an event that promotes local creativity and fosters cultural vibrancy. The Arts Commission can curate and enhance the quality of artistic programming by providing expert input on artist selection, event activities, educational opportunities like workshops or artist takes, things like that. For the advocacy, by partnering with the city, the commission can play a key role in advocating for a fair compensation as well as opportunities for local artists, helping to ensure they gain the exposure and recognition. You as a local arts commission, you would know more of our local artists in the city than me who's been here a month would. So if we're wanting, murals painted, you would know, I would assume you would know who would be, artists in your area in Duncanville that would be interested in that. So I want to increase reach and visibility for everyone. So combining the resources between the city and y'all, I feel like it would amplify a larger audience, bring more people in, give more opportunities for it to be seen, whether it be on social media or by word of mouth, with all of the things that y'all are involved in. Speaking on leveraging funds, working together not only with you being able to fund it, but me reaching out to the hot tax as well for portions being funded, sponsorships, corporate partnerships, just things to help kind of reach more people, be able to do more things for the community. As the special event coordinator, I feel like the special events are really to give our community the best we can. So more things for them to do, things, show them things they might not have seen before. Like if they didn't know we had an arts commission, I want them to know. For the whole multicultural commission that we have started to grow, something, so people can know that that's aware. Just making your community more aware of the things they can either participate in or just, gain interest from. Community engagement. I feel like art plays a very vital role in communities, whether it be for festivals or simple pop-ups. But I feel like art itself is kind of underestimated by people, and it really does bring a whole nother community together, But I want there to be educational components, artist-led talks, workshops. At Mansfield, we had a kind of a talk from we had to get them from Dallas, but they were voice actors, and so we had kind of like a panel when there was, a stage downtime, but we had them come on and speak for about 20 minutes, and they answered questions for the shows that they were on, signed autographs, they had a table in the market. So just things like that that I think would really bring a whole different variety of the community to more events. I also want to support local artists. I think when you support your community, you grow your community. So I think that it would be, beneficial for us, not only as a city, but for the Arts Commission to give those local artists opportunities to display their work and more than just a gallery, but here at the park for a city event, have their murals, they can, sign it, people take pictures with it, post it on Instagram or Facebook, tag them so it's more seen. These festivals also boost local business, not just for the arts, but for, your shops that are around town. Maybe they got here early for the event and they want to walk around and shop. That's still more economic benefit for us as the city, which is what large special events are for as well. It also, draws visiting people from different cities, even, more than just right here, but maybe further down if they're, if you reached out to people in like Austin or Houston, like, hey, we're doing an arts festival. I'd really love for you to come support it. That brings in more tourism for us. I would love, for this to be an event that can grow, not just be this year, but be a continual year and grow each time. But partnering in the creation and the sponsorship of it will help establish a lasting cultural legacy that enriches the community for years to come. The Arts Commission involvement will enhance y'all's reputation as a leading voice for arts, solidifying your position as a vital organization within the city. Strengthens partnerships, collaboration builds stronger ties between the commission, the city, local businesses, artists, creating those ongoing opportunities for them, not just for the, at the festival, but for more things around town, murals that you would want to paint on buildings to, bring in more vibrancy to the city. It would all benefit those things. So cultivating the path, defining roles. I would love for you as the Arts Commission to have a vital role in the festival itself, such as things we did in the past at Mansfield that I really loved, that we got a lot of positive feedback from, was that we had a sculpture contest. And so, woo. And so what we did was we had a jury essentially where people had to pay a fee to sign up, an application fee, and they kind of sent in what they were going to create, because obviously when they just submit that, their creation is not made. But they submitted kind of what they wanted to. They could update the jury as to how it was progressing, and then the final picture before they brought it up to the event. And then at the event where it was being judged at, they were scattered around the event location, so people could walk the area, see what was out there, vote itself. We had QR codes down at the bottom where it was a link to essentially a Google form where they could log in and vote. So not only was there a jury vote, but there was also a public vote. And then I spoke to Tyler with Parks about what if, since it's the very beginning of May, what if it was something that we could leave in Armstrong Park for the month of May? So that way the community can enjoy it, not just for that one day, but for the remainder of May. I also wanted to get with the school district and reach out to maybe being a high school, and whether it be an art gallery, we could come up with different categories, but something to get the high school involved. And that could be on your end. I know at Mansfield for their Arts Commission, they gave out scholarships to it was 3 seniors a year, but those came from the art contest that we held. So it was the winners of those art contests in each category got a scholarship from anywhere between $1,000 to $2,500, but that went just to them for their art endeavor going forward after high school. But I think that would be a good thing for y'all to do as well. Working with the city to formalize the Arts Commission sponsorship role, including budget allocations, resource sharing, and promotional efforts. All in all, a large city event, this one being where the band was already booked prior. So the band was booked, and I was given the task of creating an event around the band being booked. So with the band and sound, just those 2 things, not anything else in the event, the cost is $30,500 just for the band and sound. So that's nothing extra. That is literally just to have a concert at this point. For a functioning event, a normal event will cost at minimum around $60,000. I do not expect the Arts Commission to pay for all $60,000. Let me be clear. But I know from Mansfield, our Arts Commission normally put in anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000 per our music alley arts and music fest. So that came from helping local artists get the supplies to build like the murals and the photo ops that they had, spread throughout the our event location, or it was helping with the sculpture, the artists with the sculpture have the supplies they need. It was funding the art area that they had for the kids. It was funding the art activities they had for the adults. So it was really bringing in the whole art element of that event, which we appreciated because it did grow before I left to be one of the city's largest events, was that one. And I think it started out and people didn't really understand the arts concept, but it really grew to just show like how much, the arts can really bring, grow your community. I also would like to do an art-focused market. So not your normal market at events where it's, they're selling the light-up toys and stuff like that, but I want it to be an artist market. So if they produce art, they paint, they take photos, whatever their art may be, they can have a booth in the market and sell their work, which is what we did in Mansfield, where it was strictly, you had to be an artist. Your work that you were selling had to be art related. It could not just be your t-shirts and your tchotchkes like that. It was genuinely your art. And they had their large displays, and it was really cool to go walk there and see all the different types of art that everybody had created. And those artists seemed to do well. They always wanted to repeat. But that would be something that I would help handle through our system for applications, where we accept applications for like the sculpture contest, the art contest for the high school. I can create applications for that way. Everything's housed in one area. But y'all are able to see it and view it, and we can come together and I can give you a submission list of like, hey, this is all the submissions we have for the sculpture contest. Can y'all please review it and, kind of see where the direction everyone is going. How do you like it? How are you voting? And then have another vote when they submit their final piece. Same with the artist market. We can bring those submissions of people that have applied to become part of the market, and y'all can say, oh yeah, that is, I agree they should have a booth, or like, that's not really art, it's more, whatever it may be. But that way y'all are getting a say. We always had things where we had to vote on as well. But that's just those things. I want it to be a co-planning event, not just me planning an event saying, hey, we're doing all these things, but I want y'all to genuinely be involved in the planning of this event. So the key takeaway is partnering with the city for the Springs Art Festival, will expand the reach of the Arts Commission's mission, enhance community engagement with the arts, support local artists, and create a signature cultural event that enriches the city. So let's seize the opportunity to collaborate, inspire, and make the arts more accessible to everyone in our community. I feel like together we can create a festival that showcases the best of our local artists while building those long-lasting connections. So which is my ideas, which is, I kind of already said it, a large art contest with a prize, and then being able to keep their art up throughout the park. Artists created photo ops instead of paying large companies that can create realistically anything I want them to create. I would rather it be done by local artists. That way it's their touch on our city events. So the artist market, so you must be a market, or you must be an artist to be selected. Local artists to perform before a main act. At Mansfield, we had all things from children's choirs to dance studios to theater groups that perform just like a short little, piece from maybe something they had that weekend or coming up. And then Duncanville ISD Student Gallery, where we could do prizes, award scholarships, section off the categories. At Mansfield, we had the hand-drawn art, digital art, photography, and then small sculpture or pottery were the categories that we used. Yeah, here I am. Yes, sir.
Boy, did you come to the right place.
Question is,
Yes.
how long is this festival? Is it going to be like overnight so we can use hotel hot funds?
So I wanted to keep it kind of the same as what the other events were, which was 4 to 10 p.m. But I am open to making it more than one day, although the whatchamacallit, emergency medical team is not the biggest fan of that, just for lots of logistical things. Yes, ma'am.
What is the date, and also where have you been all our lives?
The date is May 2nd.
When do you need to know if the Arts Commission can be helpful?
Preferably as soon as possible, just because the event is in May, and I would like to start getting things aligned. I am not a last minute planner. I want everything done in advance. Yes, sir.
I wrote this on the agenda as an action item because she would still have to go to city council too after this. So that's 2 steps just to know what she's doing next.
I think this is a really good idea. I think that I would want to see is a sponsorship, right? A sponsorship package, and then we could be sponsored to that event and pick what sponsorship we wanted to do. If we wanted to focus in on the children's area or the project at the school, because that isn't within our comprehensive plan and guidelines. I think that because it's a city event, right?
Yes.
So I think that would be like the way that we could approach it, that it would probably get fast tracked, so that we could sponsor the event. We just started our fund, so.
Yes.
But I think
You
that
see
it's.
where we are.
Yeah, we just got here. But
Hey,
I think
listen,
it's like a
understand.
great idea, but I think the only thing that I would say is the best way, in my humble opinion, I'm just based on what you're saying, I think our best way would be able to do a sponsorship, because then that would limit our bandwidth and our manpower, because of course we're not doing the event, we're just helping support the event. But I think it also gives us the ability to pick and choose what we want to sponsor, right? And I think that would help us fast track it. So I think it's a really good idea, because I think when you look at like the other stuff, I think that overall it's just a great idea for the spring for our city. But I think it's really a city event, and we're basically coming in to support that event. And I think the best way for us to do it, so you don't gotta get reimbursed, is to do it as a sponsorship.
Yes, yeah, that is what the Arts Commission did in Mansfield.
I know your arts commissioner as well. We forgot to.
What was her name?
Crystal Brown Tatum.
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with her.
Yes.
So she came out to an event. She came out to our what was it, Hispanic Heritage Night.
Kingsman.
Yeah, they came out. Some of your commission.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really
They're good for it. They're fun.
really good fun.
But yeah, that's essentially what they did for like Music Alley, was a sponsorship essentially. So it was the Spring Arts Festival sponsored by, or for them it was Music Alley sponsored by, and on the list of sponsors it was like the city of Mansfield, and then Visit Mansfield, it was tourism. So Visit Mansfield, the Arts Commission.
And that contesting might be by the Arts Commission, or that art walk by the high school students.
Yeah.
It basically be supported by, presented by the Duncanville Arts Commission. That way, because our goal is always to have visibility in our branding, right? And we're just going into a new year with new things, and I think we are rocking and rolling it. And I think this is a great addition to the promotional calendar for the city. And I think that we want to look at it like, okay, how can we sponsor this and support it, but not turn around and give too much bandwidth or manpower.
Right.
Because we're little, but we mighty, but we also get tired. So
No, I
think it's just
completely
about the way we
understand that for
approach it,
sure.
so that you can get our help as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
Absolutely. Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question. The band that you said that's already here before you, are they playing all day? They're playing from 4 to 10?
No, ma'am. They're playing from 8:15 to 10 o'clock, I believe.
Who's the band?
And we're playing.
Emerald City Band.
Oh, okay.
City, we're playing 30,000.
It's 15,000, and then for their rider needs, it's another 15.
Okay. And probably won't do it this year, but it's something to think about. It's been on my mind. If we're turning the park area into a cultural district, and I love the sculptures and all that stuff, have you ever considered maybe having an art contest or something on the sidewalks and having the sidewalks?
I actually did talk to Tyler about that when we were talking about art that we could bring
they
to the
do,
park.
art on the sidewalks, which was very pretty.
Yeah, that's something that Tyler really liked as well. There was also the basketball and tennis court that he said he's up to, if that was something the Arts Commission wanted to do, but to paint it, give it a mural, maybe quarterly, it gets redone, but just something where it can just liven up the park, rather it just be the green or red or whatever it's painted right now. But that was something he also suggested.
It could be something that what we do is propose that we sponsor, do a like Park and Rec sponsorship for the year, like an annual sponsorship that covers the different things that backs you up. So I think that we could probably discuss it another time, but I think it's just about what angle would work best so that we support you throughout the year on Park and Rec events, you know. So that's a great job. Thank you so much.
Back had a question?
So I brought up hot funds because that's what we have and has strings with it. So it's tourism related, but it's only one day. So will it still be counted as hot fund appropriate? And if we let's say, just glomming on to the sculpture thing that could be there, if we sponsored that and it's left up for the month, then that would be, you know, an ongoing thing that might be more hot funds appropriate. But if one day is fine, then I'm not a hot fund expert.
I see the at-large council member nodding.
It does technically fall under hot funds.
Yeah, it falls under hot funds because it is promoting the tourism, and as long as you promote the hotel, the 2 and 3 day has been a best practice for Duncanville, but it's not required per the state of Texas. So I just know that. Now how council votes on it, I can't speak on behalf of the entire council, but I can say that it's been a best practice for Duncanville to do the multi-day. Because they figured that it's going to attach to a hotel if you spend the night. But how it's written is promotion of the hotels and promotion of tourism. So if you're promoting, it qualifies.
And then how would we deal with that if you left it up for the month of May? What would our, like, I'm just thinking like, okay, let's say we leave up all the sculptures and stuff for the month of May and you're like, oh my God, we did it. But then it rains real bad or it storms real bad. So what is our liability? Because last year we had an insurance problem a couple times. So when we were trying to do events, so what would that look like, Alex?
I don't know exactly, but I have the information that you're looking for, and I finally tracked it down because the city of DeSoto dealt with that, and they already resolved those issues, so I've got all that information for you.
Okay, so we should be insurable if we
I have the information.
Okay. You provide us with information, I'm sure we can talk about it.
I think it has a lot to do with waivers, though. There are waivers and such.
Yes, at Mansfield, how we did ours was that by entering this contest and knowing that it will be left up and has the potential to be left up for a longer period of time, know that the city of Mansfield is not has no control of the weather, therefore we are not responsible for anything that happens for the weather. So by signing this application, you are agreeing that the city is not responsible for anything that happens to your art piece, either at the event or thereafter.
Would that include arson, or not arson, but vandalism? Or arson?
Hey.
And I say that the reason we used to do Shakespeare Under the Stars in the park, and one of the main reasons we quit is our set was vandalized every night, and we would show up the next night and have to do a lot of rebuilding, and so, you know, I worry about that. Vandalism is always an issue in a public park. The police cameras cover that, but they don't cover it well enough to actually discern who they see a body, you know, but so I worried about that. I didn't know if that disclaimer is really, will it really cover that if they take that risk?
According to the lawyer we had, yes, the way it was written, that it released all
But
liability.
that would fall on Parks and Rec. That wouldn't fall on us.
No, I know, but I'm just worried about the city, the
Yeah,
exposure for the city.
they all city, y'all figure it out.
Marion.
I'd like to make a motion that the Arts Commission vote to sponsor this event.
I think we need a sponsorship package first.
Well, for her to go forth, she has to have our support. A formal action item done is how I'm understanding it.
So the thing to recognize in this is you're making a recommendation to city council to expend these funds on behalf of the arts, or,
Without us knowing how much funds we're spending.
well, I mean,
We can't agree right now how much money we're gonna spend. You know how much money was necessary? Do you have packages already put together?
I mean, I have general sponsorship packages put together for like yearly sponsors as well as event specific. Not on me personally, but I do have them previously created.
And we can put our own in them.
of what we're willing to sponsor.
Could you bring a package for the next meeting that we could vote on that package? Would that be okay?
And that's enough time for
That's
you.
what, yeah, is that enough
Yeah.
time for you?
Okay.
And that'll also give us time to figure out our money too.
Right.
But I love this idea, but I wouldn't agree to sponsor anything unless I knew what the sponsorship looked like. But I think she came to the right place.
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable, and I think we should definitely do it. I just feel like is we need to know what we're sponsoring, what do we get for that sponsorship, what visibility we get, what we're responsible for, and also, what are the contingency plans like? If, an example, if you have it May 2nd and it rains out, what's the contingency plan? What's that next date that we're going to move it to? And certain things like that, just to protect us
Yeah, absolutely.
and our credibility as an entity as well.
Yeah.
I would think.
Would you like to be on the agenda next month?
What is the date?
It's the 4th Tuesday.
Sorry, the 4th Tuesday. And
Raw.
then maybe Alex, you could send that and we could maybe review those packages before we got here, so that we can make a decision then.
Yeah, I can send this to Alex.
That would be February 25th.
25th.
I feel like
It's
that's
okay,
a
though.
yes without looking directly in my phone at this exact moment.
You're giving up money and ain't reviewed nothing
Your
like
next
that?
council meeting is March 4th.
Yeah, so that'd be right before the council meeting, so that'd be fine.
So that would give you April and then May.
It was the first semester, it was like 6 weeks.
We did Juneteenth too.
Well, would there be a way to word a motion that gives us a lack of specificity instead of the other way around?
I think there's consensus we would like to support it,
Yeah.
but we don't know the parameters in which, because we don't even know what the money will look like. We're speculating, or even how much would it be. And we
Right.
don't even have an application process for funding.
Right.
So we could theoretically, if she could email that package to Alex, Alex could send it to us, we could review it before the next meeting. We could take action. I mean, look, everybody in City Hall knows this. So,
But if there's a way to do, that's what I'm saying, is that we can vote accepting that we don't know, that we could potentially, that, like you said, there is emotional support. I don't suppose that's what you call it, but anyway, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So, the support that you want specifically from the Arts Commission is what? Money? Is it manpower? Is it creative brainstorming?
I would love a margarita machine. I don't think that would be approved, but I would love a margarita machine. It is mainly your resources in sense of the local artists that you know, being able to help them if there is an artist that needs, help with funding, like the wood to make a backdrop or the paint. I know for the city of Mansfield, when we created a large mural on a wall, the Arts Commission funded the paint, they funded all the supplies, and then obviously the local artists came out and did their thing and made it beautiful. But it's, so like that. So it is hard for me to tell you a specific number, because like I think the like y'all being a part of the like the school district art gallery, as well as potentially giving a scholarship, but that is something that is in y'all's interest. And then the sculpture contest, whether it be the jury and then a prize or whatever, but it's kind of that. So it's not necessarily a full, like, I don't need $50,000, but it will probably equate in the long run to about 10 to 12 is what I would.
Yeah, and I think that once we are
guesstimate.
able to get those packages, then we can look and say, hey, we want to sponsor the arts contest. Because you said the arts contest, but you also said you want us to pay for the paint and the mural stuff. So the thing is that there's packages in there. We can say, hey, this package, or we'd like to combine these packages, or what have you. So then that way, we are effectively providing you support in what you need. Because I think that's the biggest thing, right? You have a municipality and their different ability to get funded and pay for different things anyway, with or without us. But what I want to make certain is that we can support you in your efforts as you're increasing the arts in the community, right? So I feel like once we're able to have those packages, then we know what we're getting,
Yeah.
So that's just wild.
I see two things going on here. One is the money, the sponsorship discussion, which we can table or, take care of when we have more information. But she has asked. The ask is, can we help her? Can we help her with planning and sourcing? And that doesn't take the money number. That takes us saying, yeah, we would like to help out. I think that's something we can decide tonight, and that will help her not lose sleep.
Thank you. That's what I meant. Yes.
I'm curious as if Mansfield Arts Commission would give like 15,000 or so to an event. Do you have any idea off the top of your head? And I know it's significantly more than Duncanville's. What the 15% the Arts Commission, the money, the hot funds that went to the arts. I mean, so if I were looking at percentages wise, like our pot of money is sadly much smaller than Mansfield's would be. So, $15,000, what percentage of their money pot was that? Which would help give us some guidance. I mean, I'm all in favor of this. I think it's wonderful, and I agree with Mac. They're asking really two asks. One is will we help you, and will we, whether it's jurying artwork or providing information on artists. That's one ask. The second one is a funding ask. So there's really two different things here. And I'm definitely in favor of number one. I'm actually in favor of number two, but with them. We kind of need to know what that looks like. But it would help just for information purposes to kind of know what their pool money was and what percentage of that was that they were able to help with that.
I know per about each event, so Mansfield has 4 major events that they participated in, and per each event they put anywhere between 10 to about 25,000 per each event, depending on what the level of intensity of the event was. So when it comes to like our Juneteenth event, while they had the Juneteenth art gallery for them, that wasn't necessarily the largest part of the event, so they didn't necessarily put $25,000 to Juneteenth. Whereas Music Alley, where music and arts is 100% of the event, they put a considerably larger amount. I believe for Music Alley, the Commission of the Arts contributed anywhere from $30,000 to $45,000 for that.
I would just be curious to know like what Mansfield's total hot funds was, and then 15% of that can go to the arts. So that would give us an idea of what of that arts money pool that percentage was. That's what I'm
actually trying to look for it and see.
wanting to know.
I'm looking through their budget now.
I was gonna say I knew it's public information. So.
And I think like this is our first year. This is like the first year that we ever had money to.
Yeah,
we're pretty
excited about that.
we're really excited. We want to give you some money.
But
I also think that it's also about just laying it out the right way, and just I feel like what's the specific ask for that, whether it is that support for our team support, or whether it's for the fiduciaries. And I think that just lining that up with one paper and giving it to us allows us to approve everything seamlessly, and then it's done. Because we can say, what I think is important, especially in festivals, just in my experience of doing a lot of festivals, every city's different and their reaction is different. The way they digest information is different. And so I kind of just think like this is a really good thing. It's your first year doing it, and of course you guys are able to do it with or without us because it's a city event. So we want to be able to come in and say, hey, listen, as you're lining this up, these are the things you want to do, and you want to make this an annual event. So how can we tie into it to give ourselves more visibility in making certain that our money is reaching the community the correct way? Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I will.
So this is the first ask of the Arts Commission. Do you anticipate several other asks throughout the year?
Because how are we going to balance that if we have other asks? So the question is do we just give 10,000 to this, and then do we have 5 more asks, or do we just simply say, hey, for Parks and Rec and for the city events?
Well, my question is different, or maybe it's not, but it's like, okay, so we're having this is a spring event.
Yes, sir.
Is there a summer event, a winter, and a fall event?
So there's the 4th of July, the yearly 4th of July Independence Parade and celebration.
Yes.
Then this year is our year for Best Southwest for the Hispanic Heritage Festival. DeSoto had it last year, we have it this year, which is the first year that we've had the actual festival. I believe last year, from my understanding, is that last year was the first year for Best Southwest to do the Hispanic Heritage. So this year is our year now. So I am in the process of planning that as well. And then we have the holiday lights in the park. So as for large city events, those are the ones.
So are you seeking sponsorship for all your Staple City events, or just this one?
So mainly this one is the one that, because it is new and there is not any room from the budget for events from the economic development, which is actually the branch that I am in now. The yearly budget, this was not accounted for. So with what was left as like a cushion for the other events, is not enough to cover this event and be able to still cushion the other events. So that is why for this event specifically is probably a larger ask financially for a sponsorship than maybe in the next years or, things like that, just because it hasn't been presented to council, it hasn't been budgeted. But it is an event that after its success, I can add it to the budget ask for next year.
Yeah, in our budget, hopefully we'll get bigger and bigger, so we can show more support as the years increase.
Would it help you to have either a subcommittee or individuals volunteer to brainstorm with you on any particular thing? And for example, on the Hispanic event, Sarah and I worked together on doing, we've built up some experience here locally. So do you want volunteers?
Yeah, I would love that.
Should we pass around a piece of paper or something with our contact?
Yes, I would love that.
Well, I would like then to revise a motion to say that we support the concept.
Did you make a motion?
I'm sorry, not about
Oh, sorry.
Support the concept of a spring festival with an eye to sponsoring once we have an idea of what the budget would be. That way, we're on record saying, we think this is a good idea. That's all I think, but I think we need to do that for her.
Can we have
So I will make that motion, which was not a very good motion.
Well, I'm gonna ask you, because I'm gonna ask you to restate the motion. Can we have some policy guidance on this?
So, Alex and I just looked up the funding, and according to their fiscal year 24, it was $1,500,000. 5,000 was their hot funds for the arts committee. I'm sorry, I'm thinking and talking at the same time. Let me get it right. So the arts budget was $150,750. Now, if they gave 10 or 15,000 of that, that would be 10%. So you're looking at about 10% of your budget if you wanted to follow along those same lines of how Mansfield supported you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So,
Thank you for the
That was what thank you. That's what I was wanting.
that was one of my questions that I was gonna ask later, but I'm glad you brought it up, so great.
Yeah, it just helps to
Marianne,
think that through.
would you please restate your motion?
I would like to move that the Arts Commission supports the concept of this spring festival with an eye to considering at a later time an actual budget proposal.
So we have a motion on the table. A second?
Yeah.
We have a second. Tim raised his hand. Is there any discussion on this? Any questions? Any uncertainty? Because I'm going to need you to restate your motion again before we take a vote on it.
I didn't see anybody writing it down. Anybody writing it down?
It was so clear, I'm surprised you could ask such a thing.
Just write it down. We have to restate it.
Yes. I'd like to move that the Arts Commission support the concept of a spring festival with an eye to later considering actual sponsorship.
Okay.
Have a budget.
Tim Perry seconded. Is that correct, Tim?
Yep.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Anyone opposed, raise your hand. Carries unanimously. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, it is. It is.
It was an exercise in democracy.
We figured it out.
And Perry's gonna volunteer.
I love it.
She's one of the best you can get. Trust me.
I love a volunteer.
Trust me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for.
Of
Let's give her a hand. She's our first hand. All right.
My original presentation to council.
Hey, Devin,
Yes, sir.
would you make sure that the commission has your contact information in case we want to reach out to you?
I'll get it. I'll
Okay,
get it.
thank you.
I'll send them both ways.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, number 6 on the agenda, the Arts Commission to consider sponsorship. Hold on. We already did that one. Ladies and gentlemen, number 7, a request for the Arts Commission to team up with the Duncanville Public Library during the 2025 Summer Reading Club. This year's theme is Color Our World. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a warm Arts Commission welcome to the Duncanville Public Library.
I'm Deneen Hudson. I'm the Youth Services Librarian. This is Daisy Goodnight. She's the Youth Services Library Assistant. We've got a little packet for you. So this is a copy of the PowerPoint. We've got a little bookmark for you that has the theme for 2025 Summer Reading Club. And then I've got my business card on there as well. So we would like to partner with Arts Commission on a community art project for the Summer Reading Club. We would need a subcommittee, as now I'm finding out, for additional meetings to brainstorm project ideas. And we would love to have Dr. Ann Perry as on that subcommittee.
She's a hot commodity.
I know she's a hot commodity. We'd love to have you on the subcommittee if there is one for this.
On the subcommittee.
Yeah, so because we would need additional meetings to brainstorm ideas, monetary assistance to share the cost of supplies with the library, and we would need Arts Commission members to facilitate the art project during the Summer Reading Club kickoff. So we need bodies and money and meetings, and that's what we need. So the Summer Reading Club theme for 2025 is Color Our World. The featured artist is Mike Mullen. The 2025 theme invites library patrons to embark on a journey of art and creativity, celebrating the myriad ways how art enriches our lives. We use the national theme each year for Summer Reading Club. We belong to the Collaborative Summer Library Program. It's a nonprofit and it's nationwide, and there's a new theme every year. And then they have a featured artist and illustrator each year as well. We, as a member of the Texas State Library, they give us like $150 worth of free, like, bilingual posters with the theme. We've already gotten the materials in, the bookmarks, reading certificates, big, huge vinyl banner we can use in the library, stickers for giveaways, things like that. So each summer, we have a cohesive theme throughout the library with interactive displays, a photo booth, themed book displays. So as you can see, last year the theme was Adventure Begins at Your Library. So you can tell we've got a little camping theme. This is in front of our photo booth. We do carnival games and candy during the Summer Reading Club kickoff. We have featured displays. Miss Daisy is our resident artist. She has a bachelor's in art education, so a lot of the artwork you see around in the library she is responsible for, like the yarn sculptures above the teen area, the anime paintings in the teen area, the Black Panther in the kids area. So she's made Jabba the Hutt for our May the 4th. She's made a Grogu.
That is cool.
Yes, photo booth. So yes, she's our resident artist at the library. She just taught a still life drawing class for Craftastic right before we got here. So yes. So as you can see, we create the theme. This is an interactive display. We have prompts there. What is your next adventure? We have the tents. They write the die cut. They put it on our little mountain. So we carry the theme throughout the summer for the interactive displays, and they're very popular. So the 2023 theme was an all together now, kindness, friendship, and unity. So Miss Daisy made a act of kindness tree. The prompt was, write how you color the world with kindness. And we also partnered with the Friends of the Library for a kindness rock garden there. Yeah, so it's been really cute. It lasted a couple of years. The sign was recently intentionally broken, so it's not currently installed right now, and it proved a little bit difficult keeping rocks in there, because the sign says take one, share one, leave one, but not very many people left one. But anyway, yes, we refilled that thing several times. But anyway, it was great while it lasted a couple of years, and it went with the theme and everything. So let's see here. Yes, so the kickoff, Summer Reading Club will be May 31st through July 31st. So the kickoff is Saturday, May 31st from 10 to noon. So that's when we would need some Art Commission members to facilitate whatever project we come up with.
So it's May 31st?
And May 31st from 10 a.m. to noon.
No, till what date? July 31st.
Well, the entire Summer Reading Club is May 31st to July 31st, so that's a 2-month. But the kickoff, where hopefully this community art project, we can wrap it up all in that 2 hours, or we can start it there and continue it. But we'll just have to brainstorm ideas to see what we can come up with.
Or the monthly
No, ma'am. The kickoff is just Saturday, May 31st from 10 to noon. So that's just a kickoff of Summer Reading Club. Yay! We're going to read during the summer, and we're going to learn and everything. So, yeah.
So you just want us for 2 hours that one day, and that's it?
I mean, depending on what we brainstorm with ideas, but we've had a couple of things, like the Kindness Rock Garden. It was an ongoing thing. So at the kickoff, we have activities throughout the library. We have tons of carnival games and candy set up throughout. We have balloon twisters, a musician in the lobby. We've got crafts. We do sidewalk chalk. We've got the Kona ice truck outside. Last year we had the In-N-Out burger. That was a big draw. But we would need y'all to facilitate the arts project during the kickoff. The only issue is I've booked the meeting rooms, the 3 large meeting rooms. However, if there's a runoff election, we always get booted out of the meeting rooms. So the only program room that the library has is an occupancy of 49. And you can see, can you go back to that one? You can see they're doing the Library Kindness Garden in that room. So it is a come and go, come and do the thing, and then leave, and then go to the different activities throughout. So it's manageable. But the meeting rooms would be really nice to have, the 3 meeting rooms, the huge, but it's just, it's one of those things. So we've got 2 examples of community art projects we've done in the past. I mentioned the Rock Garden. We partnered with the Friends of the Library, so they gave us the money, the initial money for the paint markers, the rocks, and the sealant, and money for the sign. And Daisy did the wood burning tool on the sign, so that was really neat. Put the Duncanville Library logo and then the Friends logo on there as well. And then if y'all partner with us, we can put the Arts Commission logo on our flyers, on our things, we can give you a shout out. So in this particular one, patrons did paint the rocks. We sealed them and put them out like the next day or so. So it's a little bit difficult for the kiddos leaving the rock instead of, make and take craft, but it was fine. And like I said, it lasted for a couple of years. Just recently the sign was broken. So the other community art project we did on a Summer Reading Club kickoff was we did the reed paintings. So this project was facilitated by a former staff member and volunteers. Patrons, it was a station in the meeting rooms because we didn't have a runoff election. So patrons painted individual 2x2 canvases at the event. And so we had 181 total canvases, which were arranged to create the READ letters for into a larger art installation. And so this has been displayed behind the information desk at the library for a couple of years as well. So patrons really love this, kiddos, even parents come by. Where's my art? Where's my art? So they really love it. Still to this day, they enjoy it. They like to point out their little 2x2 square to their family and friends. Let's see, what else? So last year we had 766 at the Summer Reading Club kickoff. So we do have a big draw. And yeah, we just need ideas, inspiration, brainstorming. Whether it be something just for that 2 hours and we've created something, or, start it at the kickoff and then continue it maybe as an interactive display and then gather and then make a larger art installation. But yeah, so that's kind of
Once you have the kickoff on Saturday, May 31st, when do the kids come? They come every day or just
yeah,
every
so
Saturday?
we have activities every day during the week. So we've got movies and popcorn, reading time, we've got story times, we've got crafty readers.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. I've been there 12 and a half years, and so we have Vet. She's a reclaimed and recycled artist out of Dallas. We have her every year, and she does her art cycle crafts. So that's once a week. So let's see, this will be a 9-week program. So yeah, so we hire her for 9 weeks, and she comes in and first graders through 6th graders. She doesn't like the itty bitties in there because they can't really do that. I handle the itty bitties during preschool crafts. So
Now, is this free to the students, or is this
everything at the library is free. So anytime, like the In-N-Out burger truck's free, Kona Ice, we pay for the Kona Ice. Patrons enjoy it through the whole time. Yeah, nothing. We don't charge a thing. Yeah, don't want them to be charged a thing.
Right.
But yes, we need a subcommittee.
See, you're good at coming up with kid activities.
So, discussions. What do y'all like? What do you want to do?
I'll volunteer to be on the committee.
Yay.
So, specifically, you're wanting human power.
Yes, we need bodies at the
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you're not making a financial ask right now.
Well, we do need some monetary help with whatever we decide to do.
Say, I heard financial.
I heard financial too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what your sponsorships look like.
So you saw
Yeah,
you saw the routine now.
Yes.
She made it for us.
So yeah, ours is just
Sponsorships.
some of
I
the
think that
library
would
budget and some.
But
help
I think
from
yours would
y'all.
be a grant because you're a city facility and so I think that's just us sewing back in the community, and I think that would just be a grant. Just for
Yeah, I
summer
think ours is
programming.
much easier. Like I don't have to present.
Well, I mean,
council.
like I think it would just be like support for summer programming, like a grant.
It's already,
Um,
yes, she's
yeah.
already got a budget for some
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
I love
so I've
that.
already got a programming budget.
So
Yeah.
So
maybe
if we come up with an art activity,
You know it,
then
right?
maybe we
Then we
fund
pay for
our
that.
art activity for the kids.
I mean that's a possibility too.
Okay, just trying to get it clear.
Where do you
Yeah.
find when you're doing projects like this? Where do you find you run out of money the most with regard to art?
A lot of rocks.
Like,
I mean,
supplies.
just
Supplies.
I mean, oh yeah.
Free
So.
rocks.
Exactly, free rocks.
You know what I mean?
Paper and wood and things like that, canvases, those kinds of things.
Yeah, so the little 2x2 canvases, we just bought those out of the library budget, and the paints and everything.
Like, I think it's like an art
Paintbrushes.
education, like in some
Yeah.
grant, you know what I mean? Something like that, because I think that what could eventually happen, I would think, is that we could just support the library every year in their. I love the fact that I think art is so important, especially to kids. By the time you're 6 years old, your entire personality is made. I think that being able to find innovative ways for us to engage with those young artists that don't even know they artists, right? But I think that everyone on our commission has their own specialty, right? And they're able to usher some type of wisdom, they're able to, some type of experience. So I think I would like to see it become really something that we do ongoing to support the arts and the needs of the library, to continue to be able to facilitate great things like this that are free to our community kids. You know?
Because I really like the individual pieces made into a larger art installation. It's really neat, but
I like
I don't
that.
That was
need
cute.
ideas.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
It's like a coaster in a way. It's like about a coaster
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, it's just real time.
What would we like to do?
Also, there's, like large color by numbers and everyone gets a chance to paint on something large. It's their little part of it. That's also kind of a community.
Now, behind our photo booth, we do use those stick together posters where it's this tiny little square posters and it has the big huge grid, and that's been a fun interactive display. And we actually ran they completed it like halfway through, and we hadn't bought the second one, but anyway. But yeah, so color by number. We do have a large coloring project for the Summer Reading Club theme on a large table. We do get those kiddos that write their phone number on there, their social media handles. Like I would hate you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well,
but anyway, yeah.
so,
But that sounds neat too.
we did that a couple times with 4x8 sheets, 4x8 panels that wound up on the feed store. And, you know, basically the design is all drawn on the 4x8, but there's lots of little places for color to be added, whether it's, you know, like a lizard with lots of color on it or something.
Oh, yeah.
So you do that, and then someone does have to supervise because they don't stay inside the lines always. But you know, you gotta come in and touch it up later on. But it was pretty. It was, you know, everyone liked to grab a paintbrush and do something.
I would like to do a motion that we probably start a dialogue that allows us to create an ongoing grant for art education and supplies for the library.
So, did everybody hear her motion? Are there questions on the motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. For the record, would you repeat your motion again, please?
I just think that we should, I want to make a motion to create a dialogue as well as some type of plan for a grant that allows art education and art support in art supplies for the library as they facilitate things to our community.
Any discussion, uncertainty? So there's been a motion, a second by Angela. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Any against? Please note for the record that Mary Ann stepped out to make a phone call. And she told me she would, I just forgot to tell y'all. Is that helpful?
So what do I do next? Do I reach out to Ann or?
So-
We probably need to have a finance committee.
You reach out to me.
Otherwise, we're just spinning our
Is that
wheels.
good?
Yes, thank you.
I'll reach out to her.
Thank
And
you.
then I'll
Angela's volunteering too.
Okay, good, thank you.
So
You've
let us
got
know when
Thank
you
you.
three
got the
really
guy.
good people. You've
No,
got
I'm just
some
saying
really
this
good
is, like, reading is so important to me, and I think that it's such a part of what I do.
So you've got some three good people. Thank you guys.
so much.
All right, we're gonna move on to item 8, Arts Commission's events. There are 3 bullet points. I'm gonna read them all at once, and then I'm gonna hand them over. Juneteenth, June 17th through the 21st at the Duncanville Public Library Conference Center. We have Hispanic Heritage Festival and we have Arts and Business Mixers for 25-26. So who's up? Is these our years?
Juneteenth B.
That's her.
I haven't started anything yet, but whoever wants to work on that committee, I guess we need to start as far as deciding what we want to do and so forth.
Okay. We need a Juneteenth committee. Who wants to be on it?
Nobody else?
I'll be on it.
There you go.
Okay, so for the record, would you show that we have a Juneteenth committee, Mr. Secretary?
We might make a note that we've reserved the library space for that week.
Already.
Yeah, she did.
Angela had that done the
That day of the last one, which is how we should do
She
it.
said you will not put me in this.
And then they said, yes, Ms. Thornton.
Having it in the lobby, but now we have an enclosed space so we can
We don't have to go
lock
through
up
that.
the exhibit and so forth, because we learned a lot from that
Yeah.
experience.
So to recap, we already have the space reserved for Juneteenth. It's gonna be in the Duncanville Public Library Conference Room. We have a committee to work on it. It's Angela, it's Ann, it's Tiffany, and then of course we'll just all pitch in when they tell us to. Is that okay? All right, let's move on to Hispanic Heritage Festival. Who's that?
Sarah.
I think what we did this past year was good. So maybe doing the same thing again, having it for about a week and having different little things that we do with like the movie and the books. That was good. I don't think we have the room reserved those, so we might need to do that.
A date?
Yeah, I think we need a date first. Let me look at my
So how does this fit within Duncanville doing the hosting it this year? Is that what I understood correctly?
Yes, so we are hosting it this year on September 20th.
And I think maybe, Sarah, what would be the lowest hanging fruit, because there's already going to be people there, is that we have an activation within the Best Southwest Hispanic Heritage Festival. I mean, that would be, because what that does is brings all 4 cities together, and it's very well populated, very well attended. DeSoto did an excellent job last year. But I think that there was a lot of interactions and engagement pieces. So I think like us creating something there would be awesome. Since
We
it's at our
sponsor
city.
something, like we sponsor a
Yeah,
certain
like
event
we
or
would sponsor something. Maybe it's like, it could be something like a craft arts thing, or make your own, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we're, like, you just gotta.
So maybe we don't need to do a whole week this time.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Since the
no.
city's doing
I'd love to talk to you about your ideas, because you guys did such a well job last year.
It was.
You and Ann, you guys did an excellent job.
Y'all are hustling too.
Y'all was hustling.
The dance, we had a dance performance by a
Oh,
group
Politico?
volunteer, and we had no budget for this.
No.
We had a film night, and we had really,
Alex hates when you say it, just so you know.
large budget either, have them come back out. Wait a second.
I know. I know the owner of the Politico team, so he was able to make it happen.
I love that.
So
But yeah,
Sarah,
that was fun.
since we're doing this, is this something you guys could work together and bring people as you need it?
And
How
then-
would-
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because it would be good to kind of have it all together, especially if we're gonna have people from, in the area. We'll
Yeah,
get
that sponsorship.
Yeah, Mansfield had a specific Hispanic heritage group of the medical business. So they were a part of a lot of events that we did, but specifically, they kind of put together a Hispanic heritage event, and the city and the Arts Commission sponsored it. But it was, they had Hispanic art market, they had artists create like the Dia de los Muertos art that was scattered.
Okay, that's
And
pretty
then they had as like a community art, it was essentially the blank sugar skulls. They had the paint where the kids
Yeah.
could paint their own sugar skull and take it home with them. But then they had like all the Politico performances from either the children, all the way up to the adults, as well as like a strolling mariachi for a period.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. I like the school idea. Yeah.
So Sarah, are you gonna be our point person for that?
Sure, I can do it. Yeah.
Because we're all looking at you.
No, I know.
You're the boss.
Should I connect with Devin and then
Yeah.
next month we
Do it.
can kind of
Do it, it's yours. And then let us know what you need.
Yeah. Okay. Anne, are you still willing to help? Okay, good.
Now that we have established Ann is the most popular.
I know.
She is literally everyone's after Ann. Okay, so let's move on to the arts and business mixers. I think that's yours.
Okay, so I prepared just a little presentation for you. As we're approaching, of course, 2025, we want to realistically look at what we can do for the mixers, right? Last year, we got approved for 4. Those are provided, of course, by the Duncanville Economic Development, and so they supported us in that. And so what I really wanted to do is just kind of give a small little presentation, like kind of outlining what we did last year and what I kind of foresee for this year. Because we did 3 out of 4 last year, and I know back in November, Alex stated that we still have another one that's funded because they approved us for 4. But he's recently told me last week that he was wrong, and so talk to Alex. The money, they took the money back. The money didn't roll over, so we only had 3. So now we got to reapply because he said that. I know last time we thought that they had already approved the last ones for. Remember we talked about that for 2025. So now I don't know where that is, but we'll probably. I imagine we'll have to make another presentation. So I just wanted to kind of make sure that you guys knew, like, what do we do? So these are pictures and stuff actually from the event. So table of contents, the culture, arts, business mixers. We're going to just look at the quick facts, the budget and support, for 2025, the 2025 experience that I was thinking about in the 2024 gallery, right? Because we only did 4, and because I don't know if we're going to get approved, like what the deal is if they're going to just give us the money again. If I know we got it approved for 2025, but I don't know how long it's going to take to give it to us again.
Hey, Mr. Secretary or Ms. Gooden, I would think that now that we have an enterprise fund, we could ask for the money all up front, and they would just drop the 20
We
in
can
our
maybe do the
enterprise fund.
reimbursement.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, no, I was thinking too, if we've got a budget and we have money, then we don't necessarily
it may not be
have
HOT eligible. And so, but I have spoken with some folks on the board, and they said they love the Arts Commission, and they'll love to continue to sponsor our programs. There's also going to be some other ways that I think, like you had mentioned, that now that we have the enterprise fund, we can get some financial backers as well, like sponsors, that we couldn't before.
Well, yeah, I think that we can talk about all that. I just wanted to really go over like the logistics of it, just so we can kind of, because I think as of right now, we only probably are going to have 3. Unless they're going to approve it for us to have it, because we usually do 4 a year. We do them quarterly, right? So I think that just to kind of be on the safe side, we do 3. We plan for 3. We can plan for 4.
Well, we could ask just for $20,000 or whatever.
Right? Yeah, we could ask for something that encompasses all of them, so we don't have to worry about it rolling over. But I just want to make certain. I was like, well, let me just plan for 3 in case it takes a while for us to get approved. But I just want to make sure that it's usually quarterly, right? And so if we can do it and we get the extra money, then we'll do the holiday one as well, like we did the first year. We was cute. Okay, and so as you see, Devin, this is all the pictures from the different thing. You see Tim over there. He's just bossing everybody.
Look at Tim.
Yeah. So art is a community catalyst. What are the cultural arts business mixers? Basically, the DAC curated a series of community engagement events in 2024, right? And it was really a way to bring businesses together to support our businesses, to make sure we promote the arts and cultural effects of cultural arts in the community. Quick facts. We had over 3 cultural arts business mixers held in 2024. We had over 500 plus attendees. We featured over 20 artists, whether that's between poets, singers, painters, etc. And we also worked with over 10 businesses. And that's whether it be a venue or a vendor we use here locally to produce things. Okay? The budget support, okay? What they usually gave us is $4,000 for each mixer. And we did come under budget for every single one of those. Far as the 2025 budget ask, it's going to be, hey, listen, I'm asking for $5,000 an event. Because the event budget was $4,000, but maybe, like our budget, realistically, I'll be honest with you, we probably, if it would have just been regular prices and probably didn't have the vendors I had, it would have been about $7,500. Okay, so we need more money. I think that we can give out our own grants now because we got our own money, so they can't question us about that because that was something that was kind of on the fence last year. I think that now that we have numbers, I think it's easy to be able to say is that also we need a little bit more money for social media to be able to spread the word and have a campaign that lasts more than 3 days, right? I think also event branding material. Right? There's different things that we can do just to make the space look better, or that we may need to, like it can be our posters, like those posters that we got, the little cards, all those things. Because a lot of times, Alex, I'm like, can you go in your copier? Because we didn't have the budget, right? So I want to make certain that we have those budgets so that we can prior design those and have them over to the printer, and then we just kind of have a better scope of work far as is what we're expecting. And then of course each event budget we run $4,000, so that comes to $5,000 per event versus the $4,000 that we spent in 2024. What I'm looking at the 2025 experience, and these are just some things that we can build off of, or not. We could change them, right? But I did think this out a little bit, just so that we could think of how can we push the dial, right? How can we figure out a way to highlight some other cultural arts that we haven't yet touched, right? So March, of course, is National Reading Month. I thought we should do something that's centered around literary arts and create an experience with the mixer doing that. July is National Culinary Arts Month. I think culinary arts is also just as important. So I think that creating something around Duncanville and also making certain that we bring in and highlight our Duncanville culinary partners, whether that be a caterer, whether that be a restaurant, or whether that be someone who is providing goods or services in the culinary field.
And the culinary program at the high school.
Yeah, and we can actually tie in the program at the high school because that, of course, is also in our mission, right? And then October is Texas Music Month. I know it is also Arts and Humanities Month for us, so I think that's super exciting. So I think tying the two together to highlight some artists here locally and be able to make certain that we expose our communities to some great artists that they can go listen to locally and also follow and to support. I think that'd be really good that to support the artists that are coming out of Dallas, Fort Worth, or our area of Duncanville specifically. But I think that this is just the concept to create a concept around, right? Last year we did Hispanic Heritage Month. We did the art mixer. Look, I'm trying to remember all the events we did. We did the art mixer at the Paint in Place with the burger place. That was really fun. I mean, I don't know, but the burgers was really good. And I think that what was interesting the most about these mixers the last year, it put people in conversations with people they would not have normally been into, right? The point of these mixers was to make certain that we create engagement in our community. Duncanville is innovative. It is a great place to live. I think the problem is most people that live where they live don't interact with those people that don't live where they don't live. I kind of know the city dynamics for the whole West Southwest. I've worked with in here for quite a while with doing different type of events for different type of people. But I think that Duncanville has a very unique flavor to it, right? And I think that there's so much, it's such a melting pot far as the arts like the theater, whether it be the arts like for the library, and what Ian and Sarah did last year was phenomenal. I think that really gave us visibility. So I want to make certain that we're still utilizing these to do visibility, but I also think that we always want to try to highlight different types of arts. I don't want it to just always be the same thing, right? Because we want to highlight different types of people in our city, right? So these are just the scope of far as the ideas for 2025. And so for the most part is, we're bringing the community together for conversations, inspiration, and business exchange while celebrating cultural arts, right? And these are, of course, pictures from our last few. And I do believe that's it.
Okay.
Well done.
Wait a minute, I have one more page, Alex. Wait a minute now. I want my last page. Alex, what happened to the last page?
I grabbed all your slides.
It was cute. I had this dancer bending over backwards and it had a quote on it. Let me tell you what it said, though.
You did, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It says, art is too important not to share.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's not mine.
You did send it to
Pass
me.
around the phone.
Yeah, but
You did send it to me only a few minutes before.
That's okay.
I had to look.
Romero Brito wrote, art is too important not to share.
there you go. And then the dancer's been back. I was real dramatic with it. So. That was all. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, one of the things we did at the mixers, one of the things it did, it introduced us to a lot of wonderful people in the community and also artists. And we have two wonderful artists here that we met at the mixer, right?
Yeah.
And specializing in dance primarily, right? Dance and
literature.
Dance and literature.
And plays. So.
Theater.
Yes.
Okay.
I do plays and I also promote concerts.
Okay, awesome. So that's
Yeah. Yes.
That's one of the beautiful things that the mixer did, was introduce us to wonderful people like yourselves. Maybe one of those themes ought to include dance.
No, I definitely felt like for the literary, it would include some type of dance, right? What we want to do is just grab onto that one idea and then build around it. Kind of like when I did the, what did we do, Angela?
Anyway, I was just throwing that out.
I think but no, I love that. I think like not only dance, I think that it could be a culinary thing. We may have ballerinas in there. You know me, I'm a dramatic But I just feel like I think that we just wanna make certain that we have something to build it around and wrap it around. So that way we know where to get that support, also how to highlight them in the right way. And I think that we can all get together and figure that out as we move forward. But I did say, we can always do it in another month, but those were months that I thought that we could align with, and I also thought March would give us enough time figuring out how we do the money now, because I know this was new for us. So I just want to make sure we had the money to do it. So we can always change it up. Go ahead, Ann.
I think it was a great series, and it also brought us in touch with business owners that, we've fostered relationships. And
it's
we've
built
supported,
businesses.
and created really wonderful events. It'd be nice if the series were mapped out so that we could have one flyer with all of the events, maybe. So that then the people that come to the March one would know, oh, there's another one in July. And so it's not just a separate,
Maybe we can create a flyer once we figure out what it is, and then that way it can be pinned on our social media at the top. And so that way we basically have a promotional calendar for the flyers.
At least the basic, right?
Like everything that we're sponsoring.
Yeah, like
the library.
And that's where your
the
promotional
festival,
calendar
all
you be
that
trying to
kind
do.
of stuff.
Yeah. I think that the promotional calendar is important. And you've been preaching it since last year, but now we're starting to align things, right? So we're able to say, hey, listen, here's the mixers for the next, and then we can promote the next one and the date, like save the dates and send them out. And also put, like last year, our social media campaigns were not as abundant as we wanted them to be. But I think we have the time now to really kind of figure, like if we pre-plan it, then we have time to be able to say, okay, we want to do a 3-week campaign and we want some more money to do that, right? So I just kind of feel like I'll create a sponsorship, y'all can support it. And so I just kind of feel like I'm open to any ideas, because I think everyone did such a good job on whatever it is that they brought to the table for any of the mixers, because I think that was just a really good example of teamwork. So
And people are still asking about it. The other day, somebody asked me about it, so.
Someone text
we
me,
can always say
during the holidays,
tell economic
when is the
development
next mixer?
if
You
they
haven't
don't.
for the years? I'm like, no,
Ask economic development, say, hey, you don't sponsor it, then we're gonna tell it.
We'll get see the head of sponsor.
We're gonna tell everybody. That we're gonna tell everybody.
Mansfield.
I love that. Yeah.
Any more discussion on the 3 events that we produce?
Do you want me to get you all on the DC agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Just want to confirm.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, so don't we as a commission need to approve that we're, again, for 2025, we were going to do these things, because we're assuming that we're going to do them, but we haven't officially said
We
we're
did
going to do them.
in November.
Did we?
We
Did we say we
remember.
were gonna do?
Yeah, because that's when Alex said that the money carried over, and we did.
Do you want to?
We can raise
Do you want to take a motion
What
just
do
so
you
it's on the
think?
record today?
What do y'all think? Whatever you want to do.
Do I think we need mixers? Absolutely.
No, I mean, whatever, if you feel like we should do it, judge on it, just so we have it on the table.
Oh,
I'll let you handle
that's
that.
fine. This doesn't kind of hurt anything. Would anyone like to make a motion? If you like to.
Yeah,
Tim, would you
I'd
like
like to move that we continue with 3 mixers this coming year, 2025.
3.
Well, I would say 4, because it would be 3 mixers and a holiday mixer.
Okay.
Because I think the holiday mixer, hopefully we can get a bigger budget.
Okay, so let me start.
One more time with feeling.
Come on, Tim.
I move. Let me get it out, and you can talk about it later. Okay. I move that we go ahead and sponsor 4 mixers for 2025, quarterly mixers. Okay. In addition, that we also continue with our Juneteenth and Hispanic Heritage Month activities that we've done in the past as well.
I have a parliamentary question. Is this going to be 3 motions?
Talking 3 different things, and we've already completed Juneteenth and Heritage discussion, so we're only on arts and business mixer.
I thought they were all kind of one big presentation, and now we're going to react to it.
I love a good man that votes for all his women. Come on, Tim.
Do you want one for each one?
Do we need one for each one?
I need a
They're all
part.
one agenda item with categories, so could it be because it's one agenda item?
They're
Yeah,
they're
say-
bulleted.
Yeah, Angela.
So maybe we say,
Well,
voting
here's
on the
something-
art commission's events.
Right, that's what I was
Just
thinking.
to consider, the holiday event would be in the next fiscal year, the October event would be in the next fiscal year. So are you talking about calendar year or fiscal year? Because if you were to go to
Calendar.
if you're going to DCEDC though, you're gonna have to go twice.
You have to go fiscal.
Cause you would have to go for the two that are in the fiscal year, and then again for the two that are in the next fiscal year. So you got two ways to think of it.
Could we do it for just the 4 items, even though they're in different years? Because I know that we did, couldn't they do it? There's a way that you could get it done where you could do all of them under that one umbrella. So I'm not really certain how Duncanville works. So I think that, do we need to talk about that first? Because as of last year, when we got our stuff approved, it was for 4 and 4 different calendar events, right? And that was supposed to fall, yes, and it was 2 fiscal years. So I think that,
They were all in one fiscal year. And I think that's why you missed one of them. Because it
well, it's
was
from January to, yeah, but
No, we decided not to do one in December because we had so much going on,
yes.
and we were gonna table it to later.
Remember, we thought it
Because we were
carried
gonna
over?
do something in December. That was the only
So
reason.
there was 4 scheduled. We only got to 3 of them.
But here's the challenge. October and December aren't even budgeted yet. So there's not even a budget decided for that. So while you could go in this budget year and ask for the 2, it would be probably presumptive to assume the following 2, the October, December, because that's in the next fiscal year.
Right.
So I would probably, I would just say, consider that, and then maybe make a motion for the events for this year under item 8, the Juneteenth Hispanic Heritage Month and the 2, and then you can come back for the next fiscal year and then add those in at that point, because it'd be in a different fiscal year and a different budget. And
Yeah, I
and-
think the arts and business mixers need to be separate because it comes from
but
are they gonna pay for this too?
hold on, something else to keep in mind. You don't know, I don't know what the conversation with the city manager is gonna be, because he's also gonna be looking at the fiscal 25-26 budget. And there might be a possibility of having money to fund those 2 from your own budget.
Yeah, I think that we probably need to explore how it's gonna be paid for. I mean, as of October, it was under our understanding that, they had already approved 2 for 2020. Was it October?
But that's like,
Right, after,
I
as of
miscommunicated
October, what I'm saying is,
but there wasn't, I had miscommunicated that. Because they had covered
Oh.
the back one.
so it's not, so the information was not true.
That's what I told you the other day.
No, I'm saying is, okay, whatever. Like I get it. I think that we just gotta figure out how it's gonna be paid for. And it sounds like 2 of them will be paid for 25, and 2 of them will be paid for the 26 budget, because the 26 budget would be coming out as of October. Would that be correct?
Right.
Right, so we'll just go back twice. We only went 4 times last year to the economic development to get 3 things approved. I mean, why not do it again?
You're professionals at it now.
I mean, yeah, we go back every 2 months and they still don't have our money.
But again, the thing to consider is those other 2, you might have the possibility of paying it for out of your own budget.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so I feel like, but what I'm saying is the 2 that we have coming up, the first 2 that we execute will be out of are we asking EDC for that money?
Yes.
So we need to go to them with that. And you're saying, well, for the last 2, we may have our own budget to utilize. We don't want to use our money because they've approved and want to be a part of this. So if they don't approve it, then we know that we have our own money. And I think that also gives us a little time to figure it out before that October deadline. So realistically, once we get those first 2 approved, we're able to come back and say, how are we going to pay for the next 2 way before October, so that we have our clarification before we bring it back to the city to figure out approving, whether it's through EDC, the city, or our budget or hot funds or whatever.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was saying.
So-
Well, what I think is, I'm hearing a little information that suggests that beyond our hawk funds, that other money may be put into our account.
You don't know, that's
Is
why
that-
he wants to have that policy discussion, because he's saying that there's other options that are possible in the next budget year.
Okay, yeah, so, okay. I really was just going for the idea of, we wanna do these things. We don't have to talk about money, we don't have to approve money, we just wanna do them, right? We wanna do the mixers, the 4 of them, and we wanna do Juneteenth, and we, wanna do what we can do. And
So,
Hispanic heritage, that's all I was going.
it's all under the same, it's all item 8. It's all item 8.
I just wanted
So
to say,
if-
yay, item 8.
We can take a motion.
We so dramatic.
Yeah, we do.
You know what this reminds me of, when you be sitting there with your cousins and you're like, your family, and then you be like, I'm bringing paper plates, and 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, I'll bring the paper plates, yeah, so.
Okay.
You want to move that we approve the Arts Commission events?
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'd like to move that we approve the Arts Commission events on item 8, as presented.
Second.
I'd say, okay, yeah.
There was a motion by Mr. Perry, a second by Angela. All those in favor of Mr. Perry's motion? Approved. She got it first. She did it first.
No
Yeah, any opposed?
Oh, she did.
It carries. Perry Ann's back.
It never fails. If I have one thing, I've got 2 or 3 or 4.
All right. We're gonna move on to item 9. Call for artists. Who are our neighbors art project? This was requested by Mary Ann Taylor. It's in your packets. You have the floor.
Thank you. So I took mine out, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just I want to begin with the end, and that would be when this is done. There will be 8 really large, at least 4 by 8, and I can't say paintings because they aren't necessarily that. They're different media, in which artists who have applied to do these have been chosen and will be awarded from an NEA grant $5,000. The application is discussed here. It looks fairly simple. You don't have to make this 4 by 8 piece of work. You have to say what you're going to do. There's a connection with the inspiration, and that's what it is talking about, your neighbor's story. I've nominated a couple of people who I think have great stories about being bridge builders. The artists are going to be able to choose from any number of those that get submitted. They can do their own neighbor's story. The thing that's important to me for us, so much happens in North Dallas. One of the purposes, and it's not, I don't think really stated here, is that these are going to come down our way too. The north-south divide is something that's an issue. And so I truly hope that if you know artists, might be an artist yourself, hint, hint, you might consider submitting a proposal. The people who are doing it are very flexible, very easy to get if you have questions. I know the son of a famous local artist. He's moved to Forney, but he's Argentinian. He's actually in Argentina. So his son said, well, he's in Argentina. Not a problem. He can do the whole thing from Argentina. He can do the application. He can do the art. He can do anything he wants. So, but it's important to have Southern voices up there. So consider it. Any questions about that?
Would you like to figure out if there's a way that the city can help promote this to the community? How would you like to see something done?
Well, yeah, I don't know. How would that be done? What ways are there to do that? Yes, I am looking at all of you.
We're a little behind the information
Okay, could I just email it? Is that, because there's a fairly close deadline for that.
There's not much time for the open call for artists.
Yeah, it's
February
almost.
2nd is the deadline?
Well, and And just to say for these people, they've already extended the neighbor one for weeks after, and this, when did I send this to you? That may have changed as well. So, yeah, I would say it may say that, but I would
It's a
think
cool
if
program.
you know somebody, just
Cool
go
program.
for it. Yeah. It's a very prominent way to have recognition.
I love it.
So.
Any comments, discussion?
Do they do this every year?
No, this is the first time. Sharing Sacred Spaces is in Dallas this year. It's based at Yale. An architecture professor there began it. It has to do with visiting places where people worship. So far, we've been to a Buddhist temple and a Ismaili Muslim Jamat Khana. I missed it, but there's an Oak Cliff Methodist Church that's Native American. Next week, we're going to First Presbyterian downtown Dallas. So that's part of it, see spaces. But this is, somehow they wrote a grant with Thanksgiving Square and got this money.
You know, Marianne, you could, if it's a cool program that you would like to see replicated, it's within the purview of the Arts Commission to consider. And you could find other grant funders, you can rehab local colleges.
That's true.
Something to think about.
That's true. In our spare time.
Well, but the reality is we need to start partnering with other kind of funders, and we need to start partnering with higher education.
Yes, that would be amazing. Amazing.
There, put that back on. I won't make a motion. I can't. Any more conversations about item 9?
Well, the cultivation of diversity is always really intriguing. For example, do we have any Zoroastrians living in Duncanville?
Yes, we don't,
We know
because
we
I
have
know
guys.
them, they are in way North Dallas.
So we
Yes.
have Hindus, maybe we have, different.
Yeah.
So that's another form of diversity that
Exactly.
could be an outreach. And we're doing some international dinners at the LDS Church that foster intercultural and interfaith alliances. So coming up is a Ramadan dinner, for example.
March 22nd.
At the church with Turkish element culturally. So it's a good thing. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a great thing to bring to our attention, and I think it's a great thing to work to see if we can replicate it. But
Thank you for the larger vision too. So.
let's move on to item number 10, if that's okay. The McMillan reception requested by Dr. Ann. The most popular member of Arts Commission.
McMillan is ongoing in a really wonderful way, and I know a number of you have participated in some of the events, and we can table the discussion because we need to find out about money before we offer to host a reception there. But it was estimated that a reception that they do normally costs around $900. But the purpose would be to invite the community to come out and find out more about their programs, which are really diverse, really exciting, really educational. I took part in the Moby Dick Marathon, 24 hours of reading Moby Dick, again for the second time I did it this year. And on the first Friday, usually they have a salon where you put a question into the hat. We draw a question and discuss in a wonderful adult, kind of intellectual way, a question. It could be about truth or beauty or something very specific, So those are all really good programs. But I think the reception needs to be tabled again because of the budgetary consideration.
Any opposition? Is it okay to table it? Let's go ahead and move on to item number 11.
Well, we haven't heard yet, but they were remodeling
Talking about the Olden Year
the
Museum.
Olden Year Museum,
For the
which is a fantastic musical instrument collection. It's really an astonishing collection. And I don't know if any of you have been on the tour. Tim and I have been on the tour. You have?
Yes.
And the tour takes several hours. It's not a 20-minute amusement park ride kind of thing. It's an amazing step into history and music and culture. So we have to table it until we find out that they're ready, and then consider hosting an open public tour that we would pay for and they would do for anyone who, they probably will have a limit, but.
I was gonna say, they'll have a limit, they're very, my experience, and I don't even remember if it was a chamber, it was several years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, if it was a chamber event or whatever, but they're very, and I don't blame them, they're very specific about the number of people they're going to let in there at a time, so when you say an open event, we have to be really cautious. It would have to be a, sort of like when, on a much smaller scale, about like July 4th of the park where you get a ticket. And, we'd have to limit it because it's, and rightfully so. I mean, it's kind of like going through the musical Smithsonian. It's really delicate instruments. So.
Yeah, they're demonstrating a lot of it. It's not just looking at something, but hearing it. And, but in that regard, maybe we have a day where we have 3 tours or something, 25 people each, and people sign up. Something like that, where we would pay the admission so that especially city officials, a lot of, this is a hidden gem of Duncanville.
Yeah, no. And something to think about as we're able to formulate it. Is this something that the Arts Commission hosts, or is this something they host and we sponsor? I don't have an answer. That's just something to think about as you formulate it.
To be explored.
No, and I love that you're doing outreach in the community. That's important. Appreciate it. I'm going to move on to item number 12. That's me. Agenda review meeting discussion. I'm going to be brief. So the way that we organize our agenda could be more efficient. So I'm going to make a recommendation. I'm going to need your help. So we have created, and again, it's the things we do now are intended to be perpetual for future arts commissions as well. The idea is, Alex needs 72 hours to post the agenda. Once it's posted, we can't change it. That's due to Open Meetings Act. It's not us, it's the state of Texas. So we need to backtrack. We need to have everybody to submit their requests for agenda items by a certain date. And then we have all of it. And then we have a little subcommittee that includes the chair, the vice chair, the council liaison, and the staff liaison to organize it. Again, blind copy everybody. I don't like private emails because we're out of the loop. We don't know what's going on. So what I need help on, I need some feedback. Knowing this is kind of a structure that we could do. So then this review, the chair, the vice chair, council liaison, staff liaison, we need the council liaison and staff liaison participant because sometimes things will be on the agenda that could conflict with anything that city council is doing. So we need to be cognizant of that. That's why they're included in this. And again, we need enough time to have everything in, enough time to review it, submit it. You guys make your corrections, and then give us plenty of 72 hours for Alex to post it. So what I need is consensus from the commission to help me determine what that calendar is going to look like. And that way, what everybody wants on the agenda is on the agenda, and they're grouped logically. See, like I have some items that probably should have been grouped together. And then thereafter, we have both staff and a council liaison to look to make sure, okay, you're not going to be conflicting with anything that city council's doing. So, Alex, what is a good timeline? Let's back everything up to 72 hours before you post. We need a good date for everyone in the commission to submit their requests. We need time for the agenda review group to review it, send it back to commission, and then they need a deadline in which to return it. And then give you plenty of time to post it.
The day after tonight.
And y'all, so the challenge for Alex has 2 challenges. One, he sends a agenda review out and nobody responds. So the assumption is it's
not nobody, but the vast majority.
Okay. So the vast majority, if there's
We be responding, we just be responding late.
I was
So-
gonna say, I don't respond because I don't have any changes. I mean,
Right.
And a no response is, I'm okay with it,
And that's how I've been taking it.
Right.
Yes.
But that's not universal. So what we found out is, and this is why we put some deadlines, because the assumption is, and I do the same thing, I don't respond if there's no changes. I used to say, yo, good up, dude, but I don't do that anymore. He needs to have some kind of thumbs up. Because what we find find is we get late and people are like, oh, I wanted to include, or I forgot to look at it, or I didn't look at it. And they get upset because he's like, look, it's not my rule to post in 72 hours. And so all I want, and so we experimented, and I asked Alex to include the auditor notes so you can see what we talked about in our meeting. And that wasn't really great because we met, and then there was a request for more agenda items. So it was very, very clumsy. We need to be efficient, so the next Arts Commission just steps into this process. So we need a timeline to back up. We need a timeline for you to submit what you want, for the agenda review committee to review it, to get it back to the Arts Commission for approval, and enough time for him to post it. So what do you think? What kind of timeline do you think you could do?
Is the Monday prior to the meeting, does that give a week and 2 days? Is that enough, or is that not enough time for that to happen?
So I'm going to use March as an example.
Right?
1, 2. So we meet on the 25th.
We meet on the fourth Tuesday of the month.
Right.
So why couldn't we do it by the second Friday of the month?
That's what I was saying.
Cause like nobody got time to be not Alex, but I'm saying is as far as all of us, I think the thing is he wants to be able to present us with information as effectively and efficiently as possible. And I think by the second week of the month, we know if we was something on the agenda or not.
So by the second Friday of the month, every Arts Commissioner is going to email Alex your agenda request, and you're going to CC the chair and CC the vice chair. And then sometime after that, the review committee is going to meet probably on Teams. We'll look at it, make sure everything makes sense. So if y'all did it on Friday and then we had that on Monday.
Well, if we did it on that Friday, is there any way, Alex, you would be able to, I think what would be ideal, just based on the meetings that we already have established, because we know those dates, right, for our Arts Commission meetings. I noticed on that calendar. I don't know if they're correct. Well, that calendar, the Arts Commission dates is always going to be, as far as for 2025, is that the fourth Thursday, right?
Your date is set as the fourth Tuesday of each month.
I mean Tuesday,
so
excuse me, I'm
the
sorry.
fourth Tuesday.
Sorry.
So that's always that will always land on 1, 2, 3, 4, that Tuesday.
Yeah, so maybe that second Friday of the month, I'm just saying, is maybe there can be, what is it, a task? You know when you're in Outlook?
Yeah, you stick it on your thing.
Yeah, something that just pops up, it says, reminder. Every second Friday, it pops up to remind us, hey, you better, like a submission
if y'all
deadline.
sit it on the second, if y'all sit it on the second Friday, theoretically, the review committee could meet on the Monday that follows.
Mhm.
We can send it back to you on the Tuesday that follows. You could get us everything you need back on the Wednesday that follows, and then Alex will have everything, because he has to compile the packet and everything.
And that 72 hours is 3 business days, right?
So, wait a minute. I apologize.
Oh, no, ask me to repeat that.
So what he's saying is
There was 2 steps in there that you sort of threw me. Okay, so it's 72 hours. So that's why I can post on a Friday, and I've met the time so that you can meet on the Tuesday.
Oh, okay. So weekends.
just business days.
So it's not business days, it's
just
72 hours.
72 hours period?
Yes.
Okay, so that works.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would we still, so if you guys met on Monday, you're gonna submit it back Tuesday, and then if we have anything to change, we submit it back rather Wednesday?
And you get it on Wednesday. So
And then-
if we have to agree to move fast.
So
on
you
this.
have 2 options. You have the Friday that you were talking about, and then you have a second deadline option would be the following Wednesday.
That's correct. I think we do that, second Friday and then the third Wednesday, if you have any revisions.
And that's it.
What do you guys think?
Well, okay, so let's say, second Friday, the Monday precedes, the agenda review. Those are 4 people. That would be, and then the following Tuesday, we submit the draft for the agenda. And then you guys,
The complication of all of this is that
there's a city council meeting.
You now have a city council meeting that's in the mix, and I'll be honest, I'm doing their presentation. I'm sure you're focusing on studying for that. It's kind of those 2 days, that Thursday, Friday, and that Monday and Tuesday are kind of useless.
So what if we do this? You guys, second Tuesday, the chair and the vice chair can meet on the following Monday to do the review, to make sure it all makes sense. And then we kick it out on the following Tuesday, and then everybody, including staff and council liaison, can review it.
So now you're still running into the city council.
Correct.
You're still running into.
Well, so Alex, what calendar schedule works best for you?
It would be nice to have, I think that having all of the items that you want included by the second Friday works.
Does that give you enough time, or would you rather have the second Tuesday? I'm worried, I mean, I know your workload getting ready for council is crazy.
That's too quick. You know I'm late. I'm not about to agree to that. Second Tuesday of the month? We'll be meeting the fourth Tuesday. Alex, you don't have to pull it together.
Well, I figured it was only 3 days earlier, so in the grand scheme of things.
So we'll test it out. So Alex, if you tell us what to do, we'll test drive it. But I think if it's a process that we can fit, then the next the next commission can just jump on.
You do the same thing.
What are your favorite
Can't we agree to a trial run policy? I mean, nothing is carved in stone. Let's try this and see how it works.
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah,
Is
I
there
know,
not
but
enough,
everybody seems to be.
is there not another board or commission best practices?
We the best practices.
It's us,
So
boo.
we're setting the.
It's us.
We the
That's
fresh
us,
off.
boo.
We the fresh off. Don't even act crazy like you ain't been in the city.
I will tell you that in city council's agenda, there's a lot more work that is done in that. But you would be the first group that actually determined we're gonna do something like this, I
I
think.
think if we did the Friday approval, we turn around and Monday, you and Matt can meet, right? And then if there's any, and then you give that, disperse that to the whole team by Tuesday, that gives Councilman Goodwin and Alex time to review it if they have any revisions on that Wednesday after their council meeting, right? And it also gives us the ability to add, if we said, oh man, I forgot to tell them this, we have the time to submit that over.
So I think that this could work. So I'm just looking at February. If I had everything by the 14th, I could put the agenda together on the 19th and send it out to everybody. There would be the ask that I would have, that everybody looks for that email from me on that Wednesday before the meeting. And I get, if I hear nothing, I assume you're good with it. And if I hear something, we make any last minute adjustments, because you can ask for anything to be added to the agenda at any point. Anybody can say, I want this on the agenda. I would also ask for this particular month, for the 14th, if there's items that you want permanently on the agenda until it's resolved, let me know that too, and maybe make a note of it. I would like this to stay until it's resolved. So at least I have that in my mind as that's gonna get carried over each month. And it would also be something you can look for each month and say, hey, I told you I wanted this item to be there until it's resolved, and it's not resolved. And then we've got that taken.
We have a limit of the amount of agenda items that we have for these meetings. I think we have to do that. And I'm not gonna be facetious. Listen, and Alex, I've expressed this to you as recently in the last week, okay? And I think that I love meeting with the Arts Commission. I think that we are doing God's work, right? However, the reality is that these meetings tend to last a lot longer than we should not be in here this long. We should not. If everyone's reading the information that's sent out and dispersed beforehand, our time is valuable, every single one of us. And I think the thing about it is when we get in these meetings, we should be ready to make decisions. We should be able to have a couple talking points, but we should not be trying to figure things out in this meeting. That he provides the agenda, the topics, and everything beforehand. And I think that as we move forward, there shouldn't be no reason we're in here more than 2 hours. There's just not, in my humble opinion. Now, I don't know if that was the right way to express it, but I meant what I said. So I think because there's 16, and we've been in. Remember that time we was in that hall? We was all about to just, take a pill and go to Jesus. Listen, it was long, and what I'm saying is when everyone's worked all day, so I just kind of feel like, can we?
So do you want to give agenda items time limits?
That's
Yeah,
not to me.
yes, second motion.
So for my part, if I could get everything that you want by the 14th, I can put together a draft and then maybe on the 19th, so that'd be the Wednesday before, we could get together and meet, formalize, make sure that everything's in there. I send it out that afternoon so that by the next morning, by midday the next day, or at least by the end of that Thursday before the meeting, I have any last minute revisions. Hey, I want this added or something like that, or you missed this request that I sent, what have you. And then that would allow me to send out the final version that Friday before to everybody, get it posted, and I'm still within compliance.
Can everybody do that but Tim?
Thanks, Alex. It feels like to me that there almost needs to be, I mean, it sounds like any commissioner can type in, can you add this to the agenda? Any commissioner can randomly do that, and maybe that's the case, but that seems pretty wild, because if we all get an idea, and we're all creative people, we're gonna be coming up with all kinds of stuff to add to the agenda. Like Ron, for example, he's put so much on the agenda this past year. I don't know.
If there was an award to be given out.
We're mad about the time spent at the meeting. Talk to him. So the thing is should there be a gatekeeper? In other words, maybe instead of us going to Alex with our agenda idea, maybe we should go to somebody else to say, and to have a discussion.
To shape the agenda.
To talk, it's like, I have this idea, and can we add it to the agenda on account of?
Well, that's kind of what the review do you think I would tell Angela she can't put something on the agenda if she told me to put it on there? No.
But you have the discussion, you see, and you weigh the merits of what needs to go on the agenda. You kind of pre-screen it.
Well, it's almost like it's in a more polished form before it gets to Alex. So maybe, I don't know.
I think that probably we need to be more selective with what we put on the agenda sometimes, if it's an immediate need, or if it's just a general discussion topics, perhaps. Agenda items are more, I think, things that are, I think during our 2 minutes comments, some of these things that we can talk about that are things that they're things that we'd like to see happen, but they're not really an actual agenda item, perhaps. Maybe we could expedite things a bit. I may be off.
Well, no, you're onto something, because at one time we discussed relegating only to action items.
Yes.
And at the time the discussion was no, because we still want to talk about stuff. So at one time we actually discussed the only thing on the agenda are action items. Do you want to go back to that? Or do you want to leave it open where we can discuss things?
Can we leave it to action items?
Maybe a limit of 10 items. Because this is the thing about it. When we get into discuss things, we want to give it the accurate amount of time, make a decision, and move from that. Because there's always going to be a lot for us to do. Look at it. We have people coming to turn around and tell us their ideas. We're trying to do grants. We're trying to do sponsorships. We're trying to support the city with our money, right? So what I'm saying is that we're going to be spread even thinner as time goes on, because we're what's popping.
So what if we take both these recommendations, both Amy's and Tiffany's, we keep it to 10 items, action items only. And then we'll start there and see how that works based on the schedule that Alex had laid out. 10 items, action items only. And let's see how that works. If we find that we can't do the job,
we can revisit it.
Then we can revisit. This is not set in stone. This is not policy. We're just trying to figure out how to do this.
Maybe in February, we just try it in February.
But what about also having a list of items that we want to tackle that may not be action items for that night? Like the Olden Year depends on when they, are ready to do that. So if we could have a list at the bottom of things that we know we want to keep on the agenda, but not necessarily deal with that meeting. So it's beyond the 10, but it's just a list so that we remember.
We're not going to review it. It's just going to be.
It's just a to-do list of action, items that I like that.
So they don't get,
I like that
they
a
don't
lot.
disappear.
Gotcha.
I
For
like that a
example,
lot.
The field house mural, I
Food for
never
thought.
know why that just disappeared, but.
Right, we can call it food for thought ongoing.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think? Let's make a decision. 10 items, action items at the very bottom, food,
Make a
10
motion.
items maximum, that doesn't mean we have to have 10 items.
right, 10
And
items
that's not-
maximum,
that's right.
action items.
I made the motions personally.
You wanna make a motion on that?
Tim.
I can't do
So,
motions.
I
No,
have a
but
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Let's get Tim.
Well, the other thing about agenda items, sometimes is like a meeting will spawn, a real discussion that fosters some ideas that maybe we should stick on the next agenda. And wouldn't it be nice at the end of the meeting that we gave time to say, okay, I'd like to put this on next agenda.
Maybe there's
we
a
do it-
5-minute
we do it at the
roundtable
meeting.
discussion for,
Yeah.
and we can introduce those items
Yeah.
more individually to say, hey.
So-
Do it at the end of the meeting, but it says,
Yeah.
we need to put this on.
All
the
right, so let me
agenda.
ask you a question. Sit back here, everybody. Okay, so his timeline, 10 items or less, action items only, bullets at the very end, discussion for the next agenda item, and let's try to put some time limits on each action, just see if it works.
Could we divide the 2 minutes we get at the top of the hour for the commissioner reports? Could we do a 1 minute at the beginning and you have the option to do a 1 minute at the end for anything that was missed?
Or do you want to get rid of the commissioner reports?
No, I think we need those.
Just a
Because
question.
I don't always use them, but I think it's really good to, people go places,
Tiffany's building up report credits. She's got about 30 minutes of credits.
Yes.
Well, that's probably true. Okay,
So
so,
how do we, so if we do this, how do we bring forward, like if I'm gonna discuss or want feedback or let you all know what's going on with Juneteenth, then how's that going to?
But I think that's what I think those.
I may not have an action that needs anything to be voted on, but I might wanna tell you that a report that we have.
That's that commissioner's
I need
report.
some artists, and I've got this many artists, or if you know some artists, send them this way, or if you got some suggestions.
No, I think that's what we do, like with the commissioner's report. Like if we provided 1 minute in the beginning and then 1 minute at the end, at the end you might say, hey, by the way, I forgot to tell y'all, I need to help with the call for artists, or I need to do a workshop for this or that. But I think that when we're going in the meeting versus when we're coming out of it, it makes you, like we're sitting here, everybody's like, at least I do, I'm like, I should have said this, I forgot about this. Like I forgot, didn't we have a table? What was going on with the Chamber of Commerce table for the Arts Commission? Because people asked me why I didn't come, and I guess we had a table, so. I remember I sent an email over the holidays, but whatever happened with that no one was at the table.
we had one, we didn't know we had one.
Oh. I was like, well, no one invited me, so.
I saw your email about asking about it.
Yeah, so when I got the call, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, we did not have a table. But I looked back at the email and I didn't see any, so I think them are the things that are like, we need to like talk about, it might come at the last minute, just like I just used, right? So that would be my 1 minute commission. Thank you.
Okay, so to recap, the timeline that Alex has proposed, the limitations that Ms. Jackson and Ms. White proposed at 10 items or less, action items only. Tim and Angela and Dr. Perry have asked for bullets at the end to talk about some last minute things. Theoretically, we can attach a time limit for each item just to sort of gauge how long the meeting is going to go. We're just as a running trial to see how it works. Are y'all cool with that?
Yes.
Alex, I hope you wrote all that down because I'm going to sleep tonight and then forget.
It was recorded, right?
Ah! YouTube.
They'll let you know.
So is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna make this super fast. Item number 13. That's one of the cases where this is my item. It should have been grouped together. So we talked about the funding policies. We already discussed that. Item 14, a board report to City Council on February 4th. That's not accurate. February 4th is going to be the workshop at 5 p.m. where City Council is going to discuss the cultural district. And then later on, hopefully there'll be an action taken on the 4th of City Council. Please, if you can attend the City Council meeting or the briefing.
So what is that joint meeting? That's not the same thing?
No, hold on. Yes.
It was accurate. I was given a schedule. The 4th was when it was, but because of things happening
Gotcha.
at the 4th meeting, we're moving the
Gotcha.
board report.
Okay, so I was gonna talk about that. So there's right now, we're not gonna have the joint meeting is gonna be off. What happens there's gonna be a board report from the Arts Commission to the City Council on February 18th, I think tentatively.
So there is a,
I'm gonna go over the limit. So on the 4th of February,
okay,
at 5 o'clock, City Council's having a workshop in this room. They're gonna talk about the cultural district. Bylaws require that I be there, and I think Mac is gonna be there.
perfect.
Then it's an open meeting, people can come, anybody can come. So then thereafter, the City Council is going to make some kind of action, I think. City Council does what City Council wants to do. I think that, so tentatively, that's what it's gonna be. Thereafter, on the 18th, tentatively, I believe, the Arts Commission is gonna make our commission report to City Council to let them know what our achievements have been thus far in our tenure.
Do we need a video?
So what's gonna happen is, I'm probably gonna do a call out for all hands on deck to help us develop that. I have to present it, but I want everybody there if you can be there.
On the 18th of February?
On the 18th of February at City
What
Council.
day is that on? Does anyone know?
Tuesday. City Council. Now, hold on, so I'll let you know, it's not on the City Council agenda yet. Put it on your calendar, we have to get ready for it. Here's the thing about our board reports, we're the only commission who does a board report. And the value of that is City Council's going, oh, why did anybody else do this? So we're actually setting a really good precedent.
Means no other commissions like us, because they're like, you got us doing too much.
That was a big day to dump all at once. Any questions, any comments?
So we're not doing a joint meeting.
There's not gonna be a joint meeting right now.
Oh, the joint meeting's not
But
February
you
18th?
No.
but you still want us to try to come on the 4th.
The 4th is really important
A
because
workshop and briefing.
the workshop is gonna be at 5. I don't think it will last, yes.
The workshop is at 5, and we have our briefing at 6. That's where we go over our agenda items. And then at 7 starts the council meeting, and that's where the action will be taken.
If you guys can put this on your calendar to go, I would like to encourage Arts Commission to be at this council meeting. It'll be important.
So it's 7.
7.
Okay.
So February 18th at 7 p.m.
No, February
No, that's
4th.
February 4th.
Okay.
I'm confusing you.
So-
February 18th,
So what?
if it's not on the agenda yet,
So wait a minute.
we're talking about
February
February
4th
4th.
at 7 p.m.
February 4th at 7.
Okay, boom, boom.
All right.
Okay.
So the next thing on your calendar is February 18th. This is not on the council agenda yet, but I know what, right now, tentatively, that would be the date that the Arts Commission makes our board report, our commission report to City Council. And that is to let them know our achievements thus far in our tenure. As a reminder, y'all, this commission is now, we have 8 meetings left. And we have done extraordinary. And we got a lot to brag about.
So that's at 7 p.m. though.
That's at 7 p.m.
So you don't have to do a briefing.
Well, I don't know. Ms. Gooden, would that be in the briefing or would that be in the City Council meeting?
It depends on what the agenda looks like. Most time briefings are done during the briefing item, but if you have it as a board report, it could be under the reports, which is at the end of the council meeting, which that could be 9. Don't say midnight.
Sir, don't do that.
We've all been to those meetings. We all know. So put those on your calendar. We'll firm up. What's super important, guys, if you can be there in the City Council meeting on the 4th, because we will be a discussion item, for sure.
So, City Council workshop and the briefing.
Yes.
That's optional.
Yes, so the council workshop's at 5. I have to be there by bylaw because the Arts Commission
Okay.
to discuss. I have to be there.
Okay.
6 o'clock, City Council briefing. 7 o'clock, City Council meeting.
Okay.
That's on the 4th. If y'all can be there at 7, be there for all of it.
Okay.
But if you can be there at 7, be there at 7.
From what? From 5 to...
I need moral support. Okay.
I'm gonna send you a text message.
All right. Any more discussion items?
Send a text at 4:59.
Business is adjourned. Yes, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Do our artists want to say anything?
They're not allowed to right now. They're not on the agenda.
They're not on the
Sorry. But
It's not our fault.
it's not. But honestly, guys, if you have a chance to run over to meet them, meet them. Okay, so it is 9:18. Business is adjourned. Thank you.